Yeah. Anyway, I think, unfortunately, that Gab might not be joining us for this
Oh
session.
no.
So, but that's fine. Olivia can actually go and do her job for once, and it also works quite well. So I'll say that when you all wake up in the morning, there'll just be a little note that she'll have left with one of the staff that they deliver to you that says, need to head back to theatre, otherwise we'll lose job, something along those lines. Uh, so yeah,
Fair enough.
that yeah. So yeah, you all wake up in the morning. It's the final day of Humphrey's therapy and physical healing session time. Even though you could probably do with quite a few more weeks of therapy, the pressures demand that you move on.
All right, so I will check out of the hospital and then go meet up with them at the house.
Okay. I mean, well, you say the house. If I recall, Mortimer
Oh
had
yeah,
booked
that's
you
good.
rooms in a local hotel because you'd
Yes,
said that you didn't want to use the townhouse that was
you're right.
directly above the. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mortimer, by the way. Yeah, I will go meet them at the hotel. Yes, sorry. Apologies. I'm at the hotel.
Okay. So that's a day after. What would Void and Mortimer have spent the day doing, if anything, together or
We
separately?
want to finish our conversation.
Oh,
Still breaking down everything that we were talking about.
yeah, I actually have a lot of things they could be
That
doing, but finishing the conversation would probably be just fine. Where did we leave off?
was talking through walls and telling us how our theory um, that the individual whom, for the love of me, I cannot remember his name, Mr. Tadsworth, excuse me,
Solias.
probably wasn't an immortal vampire setting us up.
Oh, so you think that our employer could have just been setting us up? I've heard this theory before. I believe it's come up previously, and it is a possibility. But we seen him in the daylight, Alistair? Has rays of
Uh,
sun
gi-
hit
gi-
him?
Give me an intelligence roll, which I'll just say concerns memory.
Okay.
Not that you can recall.
So it is possible if we see him again, we could ask him to step out into the sun and prove it, assuming that that does work, which in the movies it seems to. So that's it's questionable. Is that all right with you?
To see if next time we run into Mr. Tadsworth, the likes of whom I've never personally met myself, um, sunlight, whether or not. Sure, so it's better safe than sorry. But I'm sure if we get that chance, whatever these machinations are that are going on, we'll probably have uh, done us folks in beforehand. I'm just curious if Mr. Tadsworth's humble abode has a secret elevator that leads into some sort of. Is that what I'm hearing correctly?
You kind of broke up a little bit there, but I believe what you're referring to is that from my
Empires.
understanding, and this could very well be correct, that one of his ancestries um, owned that townhouse previous to him, and they had something to do with the founding or the inner workings of this group. And so he had, I assumed, had an elevator built to go down there so that he could interact with the society of some various form. But um, from our interactions with them, they did not seem to be necessarily fond of Solias himself. So it's questionable his connections to them. It's very possible. The reason why they let us leave was because we were connected to Slias, but they were very upset that we went down there in the first place.
Oh, if I'm hearing this correctly, are we talking about like an electric elevator?
No, it was a hand crank. So it ran under
Ah,
my effort of
okay, that would make
going up and down.
more sense if that is the case. Because if it's electric, I was going to say I don't think his ancient ancestor.
No, it definitely wasn't electric. It was hand powered.
I see. I guess we'll just have to keep that in the back of our minds. Interesting. So when you say vampires, to be certain, you literally mean like like Dracula's.
Nosferatu. Yeah, like the movie that we saw earlier this year. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
now is it
if
good?
you've had a chance to see it. I enjoyed it.
Uh, Mortimer, give me a luck roll.
Okay. Oh, Mountains of Madness.
Yeah, your cousin Vinny got your little private screening a few weeks before it was supposed to be premiered. It was real creepy.
I'll have goosebumps of it, but you're talking about like a bunch of Nosferatus. Damn.
Well,
Drinking anything or inhaling anything that's not prescribed, or maybe something a bit extra of what's been prescribed.
I might have been mistaken, but I think I had previously asked if you believed in the things unseen, and you seemed kind of adamant at the time that you did hold those types of beliefs.
The same things, sure, I've had my run-ins, but the out of a book is, I don't know. I suppose it's not too far-fetched, but then again, to say that out loud kind of sounds a bit crazy.
So Alistair, I just want to check. I believe you probably wouldn't have left it with Humphrey, simply because he was staying at the hospital. But where would the bag be? Who would the bag be handcuffed to?
It's fair to say you would have the bag.
Okay. So, um, Void has a bag handcuffed to him, and he hasn't left it this entire time. He's been sleeping with it handcuffed to him, and so he pulls out a key and he uncuffs it, and that allows him to open the bag because it was going around the handles. And he looks at you and he asks, "What was the last book you've read?"
Oh, jeez.
I can give you a moment because
Text. Probably the new edition of the United States federal law came out a few years ago.
Okay, so I'll probably have to rephrase that because Void knows better. But what was the last book of fiction you've read?
Ishmael? That's all my jam, my dear.
Okay. So, I'm telling you this so that you can prepare yourself. If I open this bag and you look into it, it's likely you will see that book play out. if I do this, if I open this, you probably shouldn't try to interact with it. You probably shouldn't try to touch it. And if you see something strange in there, we should probably close it, because this has been known to affect people in possibly adverse ways.
He has like the most. He's one eyebrow raised at you, looking half smirked.
Are
How
you
long?
are you prepared? Or we can not
Oh
do
yeah, I
this?
think I can handle your bag.
Okay. Oh gosh. Boyd just kind of raises an eyebrow. All right. And so he opens the bag and he shows him the inside of it.
Okay. What was that book you said again? Because you kind of cut out at the title. I'm
Moby
afraid.
Dick.
Ah, you said Ishmael, so I thought it might be, but yes. So yes. In that case, you open it up, and yeah, as soon as you open it up, in a manner that's almost filmic, but beyond the pale of any film you've ever seen, in complete color and in, with viscera and spray, almost hitting your face and the whiff of sea salt in your nostrils, you look inside and see this one singular vessel soaring and bobbing amidst the waves. And inside your head, almost as if there is no sound, but almost as if you think the words and they surge forth like driftwood reaching the shore. The words formulate, "Call me Ishmael." And the first chapter of Moby Dick is enacted in front of you. It's mostly narration, but it's still, given the plethora of images it produces, it's still fairly shocking to you.
Mother of mercy. Staring into the bag, mouth agape,
I'll let him
wide-eyed.
I'll let him keep staring as long as he's interested in the contents. But if he gets close or something unusual happens, then I'll close it.
Okay. In that case, just because of the nature of narration and how things proceed, and the fact that the chapters are fairly short, things proceed until eventually at yeah, I suppose quite a. This is the point where I reveal I've never actually read Moby Dick, but
Whale,
yeah,
boat, harpoons.
quite a generally, but yeah, in chapter 9 when the sermon begins, and immediately following when the sermon begins, you begin feeling this horrible niggling feeling amidst your gut, and then when the whale strikes the boat for the first time, which is roughly about 20 minutes after you've first begun looking into the book, I will need you to make me a sanity roll.
Gotcha. Sanity.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, it's very startling, but you still keep hold. Do you think that would be enough to tear Mortimer away?
He would like slowly sit back from it and with both hands close the bag.
Okay. As soon as you close the bag, the voices and noises stop.
So I felt as if I had to show you that because that kind of likely ties in to everything that we've been running into. as far as I can tell, these beings like vampires and this weird pink blob that came up with a whip, they might be out of stories and somehow they're coming to life. So
The life.
considering it
Where
seems
did you
to be,
find this bag?
we found it on top of a ferry that seemingly someone had just left there. I mean, we didn't actually see it being dropped off, but here it is.
You feel this is tied into hell? What the hell is that bag?
It's a source of unknown power that is absolutely amazing. Um,
Yeah, you
the
got that right.
the purpose of it is beyond me, but I don't know if it necessarily needs a purpose.
Do you think this is tied into your Ratu's how?
Well, I mean, Nosferatu did come from a story, right? And so if he did manage to find some sort of way to leave that world and come to ours, that would probably explain why there's vampires running around and why there's other creatures that shouldn't be here. Or I don't know. I can't think of any other explanation for it. There might be other reasons, but it all seems very storyish to me.
Think that those vampires that are attached to Mr. Tadsworth climbed out of your handbag there?
I don't know if it.
Actresses
I
to
don't know.
bring back. Wow.
I don't know if that was necessarily the case. There might be more types of items that allow these characters to get into this world, maybe in different ways. But as long as we have the handcuffs around the handles of this bag, nothing should be getting through. But I mean, that's just kind of speculation, I guess.
Mortimer thinks on it for a moment, and then he reaches into his coat and produces a small little baggie. And he says, he reaches in and produces a small amount of ash. Which, Alistair, I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Sprinkles it over the bag real quick.
Wait. So I assume that I'm still holding on to the bag.
Yeah, you have no context for this at all if Mortimer doesn't say anything.
Okay, but if I remember correctly, the bag always tries to protect itself and who's ever holding it. Because when what's his face? When Humphrey fell off the train, he was unconsciously trying to protect the bag. Would this come into play here?
Yeah, give me a power roll, actually. That's a good shout. In that case, you don't feel an obsessive need to protect the bag, but you still feel that snap impulse.
Like something's gonna happen?
Well, yeah, you feel a sudden draw towards the bag, but then when you try and identify where that's coming from, you recognize it's not coming from you.
Okay. All right, so I guess whatever happens will happen if I don't really know
Okay.
what's going on here.
You sprinkle it over the bag, right?
Yeah.
As you do so, I will need. I will need both of you to make me a sanity roll. Oh, nice. Okay, so both of you will only lose 1 point of sanity, but the bag as you see it remains there, but snapping around it suddenly into view, you see almost 4 copper rods that kind of, as the bag is now shut, kind of make it a square in shape.
Whoa, what did you do?
So wait, there's 4 copper rods surrounding the bag like a square.
If you imagine how a bag kind of curves into the middle when it's shut, there are basically four copper rods stretching out from each end that kind of now render it square in full shape, counting the rods.
Closes his little bag and puts it back into his pocket. I
what
didn't
did
think
you
that'd
do?
actually work.
What did you do?
Saw something unseen, I guess. That's what we're looking at.
What are these rods? What did that powder
These
do?
rods are. I didn't make the rods there. What I did was I can make stuff that you can't see usually seen, which can be good sometimes.
So
And he says,
these rods are something that were there but we didn't see?
I mean, I don't know if they're actually there or if it's just part of the weirdness of this bag or something. I don't know. Touch it.
Do you touch the rods?
Oh. I don't want to touch it with my hands necessarily. Is there something I can pick up and poke at the rods?
Yeah, there's like pencils around or
Yeah,
shoes, really all manner of
I'll
implements.
pick up a pencil and I'll poke at the rod.
It goes through it.
So, okay.
You do note that there's a the ash itself was green in color, and there are sort of quite a few green particulates still clinging onto the rods. They haven't fallen off.
What happens if I blow on one of the rods and try and clear it of these green particulates?
If you blow on one section, then the powder blows off of it and it no longer is visible.
Rods. What do these rods look like?
Um,
Just are they just pure smooth? Do
they
they have
they
any?
are they are mostly smooth. They are copper in color, and they have various brown lines and sigils running across them. If you want to interpret what they say, I will allow either a archaeology or a Cthulhu mythos, or an occult, actually. Cthulhu mythos will get you the best results, but I'm
will
aware it's
roll
also what.
Cthulhu Mythos.
All right.
Click.
Nope.
Let's see. What is everything? Oh my. Well, I can try it. Yeah.
No.
So I guess what I can do, is there like a pad and paper to go along with this pencil?
Yeah, there are.
Can I write down these sigils that I see onto that paper?
They're not really sigils per se. They're more runes in a strange and odd fashion, and they're kind of pushed into the metal itself. You become aware that you've seen archaeologists do like brass rubbings before, so you could try something similar with the pencil.
Oh, but the rods themselves, they
Yeah,
are not really there. You
they
go
are
through
not tangible. No.
Yeah, so you can't really do a rubbing,
So
right?
that is true. I didn't think of that. Yeah, if you want to interpret them down accurately, I'm going to need an art craft drawing roll.
All right. Let's see.
which
Well,
I
we can
believe
try it.
begins at plus 5%.
5%.
Yep.
Well, I'll do the best that I can. Maybe someone else can interpret it correctly.
Let's hope. No. You scribble down crude approximations. It does cross your mind that perhaps it does briefly cross your mind that perhaps you should find a sketch artist, and then you realize you'd have to explain
Yeah.
all of this to them.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could resprinkle it and get someone who might know more about it, like Humphrey, to look at it. Um, but that is pretty dang useful.
I don't usually. It's only one other time that it's actually come up.
What was that time?
A personal event. I'd rather not get into it right now. What's the next step then? This is
Well,
not,
I want to make
not
sure
the
that this
direction I
has.
thought this was gonna be.
I'd like to make sure that this hasn't affected the bag, but I'd also like to try to check in on something that's in the bag. Can I open it? And I want to look at the 39 step story, and I want to see if I can find the flower that I dropped in the very first time, and see if it is wilted or if it's still alive or what the state of it is.
Ah, very good. Okay. You open it back up again. You see the flower. It's there on the pavement, as has been described before. Give me a natural world check.
Oh, 10%. Okay.
No. It's a flower. It looks the same.
Oh, so no real, from my point of view, no distinguishable difference, and it's been
No.
in there for quite a few days.
It occurs to you that Thomas would have had a better understanding, but he's left
Yeah.
back for England again.
I closed the bag, and did we get a note from Thomas saying that he left for England?
Yeah,
Because
he left you a note saying that he's enjoyed his romp, but feels the need to return to his business
and his family, I assume he
and his
was worried
family. Yeah,
about them for a little bit.
yeah.
Okay, well, at least he wasn't snagged by someone. Um,
No.
so yeah, I look at Mortimer, and well, Humphrey is supposed to be released from the hospital today. However, with everything going on, I would like to try to stop at Solias's tailor to see if we can get a hold of some more of these vests like what I'm wearing, because it really helped me out quite a bit. So the more of us that we can get protected, the better. And just see what options are available for us. Would you be okay stopping there with me?
What vest are you talking about? And also, can you take that flower back out?
Yes, potentially. But he didn't actually mention anything about the flower. Boyd just
Okay.
opened up the bag
The
and
bag,
looked in
yeah.
it quick and
And
closed
looked
it.
inside it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that then.
Um, yeah, so yeah, so unless you ask him what he did, which is fair enough.
What you looking at there then?
Well, a while ago when we had found the bag, the first thing that I tried to do was to drop something in it. And I wanted to check to see if it was still there and how it was doing. Because, of course, like I mentioned, I'm worried about characters coming from this story or any other stories into our world. And because we could get something of ours into there, we figured out that the transfer was possible.
Again, can you get things to come back out? Can you take your flower out?
We can get things out. But yeah, I'm not sure we even want to mention this to Slias quite yet if we do run into him. I think we'd want a few things explained first. But since you're hired by it, I think the last time we explained it to Olivia, so it's only fair to have explained it to you.
Mortimer, it's around about this time that you realise something. I normally don't like to step inside characters' heads, but I feel he would begin realising this at this point. This bag could revolutionise entertainment. This
has already crossed his mind.
Okay, sorry.
No doubt about it. An absolute revolution for entertainment. If it wasn't for the fact that he's trying to go low, he would love to make a boatload of money off this bag. Do you know who the owner of this bag previously was before you found it?
Nope, just what I told you. It was just left somewhere, and we happened to stumble across it. But even before that, it seemed like people were out to kill us, or capture us, or talk to us very harshly. And that's continued on. So I don't know if it was necessarily because of the bag, but I'm pretty sure that the bag isn't helping us out. And so Void goes and he handcuffs the handles of the bag again, and he holds it.
Watches you do that. Longingly, almost.
So it's around about this time, Humphrey, that you're getting discharged from the hospital. You fill out the paperwork. They hand you some prescription drugs, advise you when to take them.
Nice.
Yeah. And
didn't we say something about that, about getting hooked on it and rolling constitution checks? Yeah. I liked that idea, so I would like to continue that.
I don't think there are rules in standard 7th edition for drug addiction. Maybe there are, I'll just check.
That actually reminds me, I have to open up my notes from last game.
Yeah, no, it just comes under phobias or manias. So yeah, the only way for you to become an alcoholic in this game is to experience the mythos. No. So yeah, I'll just say, like, if they're once per day pills, which for simplicity I'll say there are, then no con roll if you take the normal amount per day, standard con roll if you take twice the amount, and like that increases to hard and extreme the more you take.
Okay.
So yeah, it's about this time that you start heading back. Why don't you give me a spot hidden roll?
Okay.
He's got a good spot hidden.
I do.
You've been improving it. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, you start picking up the general sense that you're being followed. There's a man kind of trailing you from a few dozen yards back.
Do I see?
Black cap.
Okay. Do I see a alleyway anywhere?
Yeah, you're walking along a relatively dense part of the 20th arrondissement. Like I've said, this is a nice place, so there aren't like grungy back alleyways, but there are side passages.
Okay, I'd like to duck into one.
Okay, sure. You duck into one. I mean, at this point, you either have the choice of giving me a stealth roll or giving me a strength check to see how fast you can run.
I'd like to do a stealth roll because I'd like to try and hide and get ready for him and try and like pull him into the alley.
Okay,
aggressively.
That's fair.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I'm afraid he ain't falling for it. And as
out,
and as you attempt to jump forwards and apprehend him, he pulls a gun on you and like puts it directly to your chest.
Okay, is he like holding me up, or do I have what?
He gets it out, puts it to your chest, and says, "Do not move, American."
I'll just sort of put my hands up, be like, "All right, you got this one."
He gestures with the gun, indicating that you should move into the street.
Like walk into the busy street.
There's a car that's just pulled up next to him, and has
Oh,
opened
okay.
its door. Yeah, so he's like getting the car.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I guess I'll get in the car.
Give me an int roll.
Okay.
If there was ever a time to try out that experimental ancient magical rite that you read about that clouds a person's memory and that
Oh,
the average
yeah.
thug wouldn't know about, it would be now.
Oh my. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I had totally forgotten about that.
Mm.
Yeah, all right. I will attempt to cast the mind cloud.
Yep. Cloud memory.
Cloud memory,
well,
yes.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so spell to consciously remember a particular event. The spell takes effect immediately if the caster succeeds in an opposed power roll with the target. So give me a power roll.
Okay. Ooh, I don't have great power.
Mm. Being
Oops,
so,
that was the wrong one. Ah!
well, no, what did you... Oh, no, that wouldn't have been a success anyway.
Yeah, none of them would have been, yeah.
Being fair, how hard did he fail? He actually probably is slightly more mentally stable than you. I was going to say you'd have a +10 because of the surprising nature, but even then. Yeah. You begin murmuring some words under your breath and don't really.
It doesn't have
seem to
any
take
effect.
No. Yeah, he indicates, and I mean, do you move into the car?
Yeah, I'll move into the
Yeah.
car.
You probably move into the car, and he climbs in after you. It's quite dark inside the car. They've intentionally like put curtains on the side of the windows, and within there is what seems to be a rather dark-skinned man with a large meerschaum pipe in his offhand. He's wearing a rather nicely tailored suit and is in general a very well put together kind of individual. And he nods at you as you climb inside. Mr. Klein.
I don't have the pleasure of knowing who you are. And I'll sort of say it, not sarcastically, but as if I know what's going on.
Call me your man in Morocco.
My man in Morocco. Well, this is not the way I treat my guys.
Well, I am not your man, per se. I do not wish to provide you with my real identity. Then again, I have long since lost it. I go by whatever name suits me best. He draws from his pipe, releasing a large and acrid cloud of smoke. I understand your investigations in the Wild Files, he says almost with a sneer, have led to interesting factors in recent days.
We've run into a few problems, sure, nothing we can't handle.
Well, it is my impetus to monitor the transition of my country's secrets to your continents. And I am led to believe that there are details that may have emerged that lead you to believe that you should consider Morocco as a next destination.
All right. And what should we be looking for in Morocco?
Nothing. I tell you not to go. This is why I come here. There is nothing for you.
You did say that you are importing some secrets. Those we've seen
am-
that those secrets can be quite dangerous. I think that involves everyone here.
Mr. Klein, you don't understand our position. I come to you now as the hunter seeking to move aside the wounded young rabbit whilst I put the mother out of its misery. Do not return. Do not give me cause to speak with you again. I assure you our next meeting will be far less pleasant.
Well, I believe you, and I can let my compatriots know as much.
Terrific. If you would do so, that would be much appreciated. He extends a hand for you to shake.
I'll shake his hand.
Okay. He slips a 5 franc note into your hand.
I'll give it back. Say thanks, but no thanks.
He narrows his eyes and looks out of the window and says, "Oh, I believe this is your stop." And you will promptly find the man next to you pushing you out of the door and onto the pavement. If you want to contest that and for some reason stay in the car, you can give me a strength roll.
No, I'll leave. I'll get out
Okay.
while I can. Yeah.
In that case, give me a dexterity roll. Yeah, you narrowly miss smacking your head against the lamppost. Your cheek veers from it by inches, and you instead kind of drag it into the slightly unconventional recovery, but that still manages to get you walking on the pavement again. And you are directly outside the hotel that Mortimer has booked you rooms at.
Oh. I will very quickly enter, putting some distance between myself and the car.
Yeah, the car quickly drives away, seemingly indifferent to the situation.
Can I look? Is there a license plate?
Yeah, give me a spot hidden roll.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wait, actually, no, we talked about this, didn't we? There aren't license plates in this.
Oh, there aren't license plate. Okay, that's totally fine. All right, then I will hurry to the front desk to try and find them.
I was going to say you do pick up some quick visual signifiers of like.
Oh, okay.
It would have to have been hard for you to pick out like the manufacturing stamp at the bottom of the car's back. But yeah, you at least pick up the visual signifiers of like it's never mind. It's a Renault of some description. My 1920s car knowledge is very bad.
That's totally fine.
So yeah, you walk up to the front desk. You find that a room has been booked in the name of Klein.
I will go and check it out. I'll head up to the room.
It's directly across the hall from from the room that Void and Mortimer have booked themselves into. So you will hear heavy footfalls moving across the corridor in front of you. This is the middle of the day, so like nobody else is really in the hotel at this point.
Yeah, I will go and knock. If I know that if I'm across the room from them, I'll go straight and just knock on their door.
Well, that's the thing. I'm saying you wouldn't know that. I'm saying that to them.
Oh,
in case
okay,
they want
okay.
to come out and.
Oh, okay.
Then go around in the hall, so it'd be fun.
So we hear footfalls, but we don't necessarily know that it's Humphrey.
I guess we're too
I'm
like, what's going on? Sorry, Gab.
I was going to say, people's footsteps generally don't tend to include their name.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's thus we don't really have a reason to go and check.
Okay.
But
I
I
mean,
believe
Mortimer,
we were preparing to go or try to go to the tailor, so we might run into him.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to give it a luck roll. I'll say this is around about the time you'd be preparing and heading out anyway, and it's just as you finish shutting the door that Humphrey rounds the corner.
Humphrey, does he look
Hey!
disheveled or anything?
He he looks very disheveled, like his,
Except
that
for
he-
my mane.
yeah, except for your luxuriant Fabio mane.
Yes.
What did therapy do to you?
Not so much therapy. Yet another incident in an alleyway.
Come in.
Yeah, we should just stay out of those from now on, is what I'm starting to think.
Well, wait. So I tried to usher him into one of the rooms, and it's like, okay, so what happened?
I was followed by a man, and he forced me at gunpoint into a car. I will leave out the part about the spell. I won't mention the spell. And then in the car, a man from Morocco said that soon we would believe that Morocco should be our next destination, and then he warned me and told me to warn you that we should not go to Morocco, that we should, and that if we do anything that it involves us meeting him again, that the next meeting won't be as pleasant.
Wait, what? He said
Yes.
that our next destination was going to be Morocco, but not to come to Morocco?
He said that soon we would discover, or that someone would tell us that we should go to Morocco, and he was preemptively warning us not to.
Well, Morocco has come up a few times, but I haven't particularly found that I wanted to go there yet.
That's what he said.
Before in the past.
Well, we did find out about. Yeah, I'll say Baker. There's a lot to catch up on. Unfortunately, there's that we found out about an African, two African cults. The cult of the Archdoon and the cult of the Black Lioness. The cult of the Archdoon, they didn't seem quite as bad. They were mainly stealing texts. But the cult of the Black Lioness has been abducting people, and so they seem really bad. If I had to guess, this guy seemed more of the cult of the Archdoon, to be honest, because he said what they were doing was importing secrets into the country, but I don't know that for sure.
What do the cult of the Archdoon?
They are a docile cult. That word was specifically used to describe them, who mainly steal like ancient secretive texts. So he said, but this, admittedly, my interaction with him was not docile. So maybe it is the cult of the Black Lioness. But it's what I presume it's one of the African cults. Yes, he said that soon we would be led to Morocco, and he was preemptively warning us not to go.
Do we even know where we would go in Morocco? Are there any places that we feel, or people that we feel like we should be meeting up with?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I asked him point blank, what is there in Morocco? And he said, and I quote, nothing. So, no, I don't know. It was a blindside to me. Yeah, and he didn't even tell me his name. He said he had long since forgotten his original name, which was also something that was weird. But he said that he was our man in Morocco. And then I said, this isn't the way I treat my men. And he said, well, I'm not really your man. I'm just warning you not to go to Morocco. And then he tried to slip me 5 francs, which, to be honest, is just insulting.
Well, unless
you demand a higher quality of bribe.
Well, yeah. Either really bribe me or don't bother.
Well-
You know.
Be careful of our enemies giving us gifts, right?
Exactly. I don't worry. I didn't take the money. I
Okay.
gave it back. Gave it back.
Well, very, very good.
I will say
yeah.
Morocco has come up in other terms. Do you remember when I told you that something was distinctly Carthaginian in origin?
Yes, that
Carthage-
was the cult of the Archduke, right? I do have
Yeah.
Carthaginian under my notes of that cult.
Yeah, Carthage. The city-state of Carthage was based where Morocco now is.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that, so that's a
Okay.
good thing to have.
That's
that
something Humphrey
information.
would know with societal context. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I will say. I will say then. Yes, it is probably the cult of the Archduke. I guess. Now that I think about it, my interaction with him was kind of docile. It was threatening, but he at no point did they hit me or anything like that. Like the worst was a gun pointed to my chest. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, nobody pushed me into the street or in front of a train. So I guess it was docile compared to some other interactions we've had.
So they're just trying to scare you.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to scare us. He specifically mentioned that he knew you guys as well, and he wanted me to tell everyone not to go to Morocco.
Wait, does he know
So
we're
he-
here?
Yes, he dropped me off here.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
How does he know
That
we're
was that.
here?
I was getting to that. And then after all of that, he dropped me off here. He said, "This is your stop," and then pushed me out and tried to push me into a light pole. Which, again, was just insulting.
So we're gonna have to check out and find some other place.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, I
man.
don't know about you, but when somebody tells me not to go somewhere, I mean, a little bit that makes me want to go there. But what exactly do we have left to do in Paris? I have
Well-
a couple of books that I need to read.
Well,
Hmm.
yeah, so we
The guy
still
was
need-
pointing a gun at you.
Yes. Well, no, not the guy that threatened me. He had like a henchman, and he was the guy who pointed at a gun and made me get into the car.
He's like Moroccan. Did you gather?
Oh, was he? Was the henchman?
was a French European.
Okay. No, the henchman. While the man was Moroccan, the henchman was looked local.
Well, if that's the case and they know where we are, can't imagine they don't have eyes on us continuously. Probably.
Yeah.
has
So it
something related
probably doesn't
with
really
us.
matter where we go.
Well,
Yeah,
it,
I think
it
you're
did
right.
it didn't help that we used our names to book the rooms.
That's also true. But he's right. If
I
this
did
guy's
not
working
use
with
our names to book our rooms.
Oh, okay, because I was getting that impression when they said that Humphrey's room was booked under his name.
But he's right. If he's working with other French thugs, then there's probably, and he was following me, there's probably people following us. So it might not matter where we go.
Well, it doesn't hurt to try to keep changing things up a little bit.
Well, yeah, no, I think the best. I think. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I meant it doesn't. I don't know if it matters much where we go in Paris. I think we could lose them if we took a train somewhere else. That I think is totally plausible. I meant it might not matter so much where we go in locally.
Yeah. But also, I'd like to remind you the entire reason for coming to Paris was the information that we got from Vivian to go and check out the place where
The
he is
sewers.
infected, and we never
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah, we
Yes.
need to do that. No, you're right. I knew there was some, and the sewers. We never went down into the sewers. So we do. Yes,
Sewers.
I knew there was stuff we had left to do in Paris. I just wanted to remind. Yeah, I had forgotten about the. I remember the sewers, but I had totally forgotten about the Vivian house. So now that it's daytime, would this actually be a good time to go check out the Vivian place?
There's something that I'd really like to try to do first. Can you read some of your book or something?
Yes, I have two books, and then I actually ripped out some specific pages from another. So I do have some stuff to read if you guys needed to do some stuff. And maybe that wouldn't be a bad idea for me to just lay down on the bed, read a little bit, compose myself. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to compose myself with the books I picked up, but
and lock the door.
and lock the door. Absolutely.
All right. So I'll be back in a little bit. I'll take Mayhem with me. I want to make a quick stop.
Going to the score with Mayhem, I think I'll sit tight with Humphrey in that case.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
but
I'm
you'd
going
have
to.
leave Mayhem here.
I could watch Mayhem if you wanted to go to the tailor to get him. Well, I don't know if you're
Well,
going to the tailor. Sorry.
it's good to take your dogs for a walk, other than
Yeah,
abduction. So let's
that's true.
I'll spend some quality time walking with Mayhem to the store or to the tailor
Okay.
per se.
Mm-hmm. You okay. In that case, let's just deal with that first. It's in the 20th, as a lot of the directions you've been given are. It's a kind of off-street little haberdashery type arrangement, but very very compact, but very stylish and well put together, and usually far beyond your price range.
All right.
But yeah, as you walk into the front, there's a polite little man with pince nez who looks up and nods towards you.
Ah, good evening.
It is the afternoon, monsieur.
The afternoon, evening, afternoon, same thing. Um, no,
Of course.
good to meet you. I am under the employee of Salias Tadworth. You are familiar with him, yes?
Oh, he quickly looks at a card. Your initials are JV, yes?
Oh, you know me. How very
What is
interesting.
what is your full name?
Oh, it's Joseph Void.
Correct. He hands over a note to you.
Oh,
Monsieur Tadworth is in town. He told me to give you that.
I look at the note.
Yep, it's a handwritten note. It says, you note that he has very neat handwriting as well. It's the first time you've seen his handwriting. Uh, it basically reads, Dear Void, sorry that I was a few days late in arriving. I turned up, you weren't there. Had a note from Jean that said she had gone down to the south and you were heading to a hotel. Sorry, my house was apparently such a disappointment. I'll be there for a week or two if you want to stop by.
He's staying at the house. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'll pocket the note. And well, thank you. I appreciate that. That, of course, wasn't the reason for my stopping by.
Mm,
I have a particular question.
yeah.
We've been experiencing a little bit of trouble along our way, and I happened to pick up this, and I kind of pull my shirt and show him the vest that I have under me, and it's benefited me quite well. I was wondering if you maybe had access to a few more of these.
By this, do you mean the armored vest?
The armored vest. Yep.
Okay. He kind of looks you up and down and nods briefly. I might have some leftovers from officers' clothes from the war.
Because I have some people with me that I do care about, and I would hate
Mm.
for something to happen to them. What would it take to get a hold of these?
There are very few of them. 600
£600, francs?
francs.
Francs, okay. How much is that, and how much do I have with me?
Staggeringly beyond anything close to your price range,
Even with French inflation?
even considering inflation.
Is that per vest or
No,
the multi?
this isn't concerning a vest. He's saying that he has some matching trousers that would be similarly protective.
Oh, oh, that's not exactly what I was referring to. So I want to get like another vest for my companions.
Oh, oh, 800.
I see. Okay. Let's see. I might be able to accommodate you. Is there a antiquities dealer or something that you're aware of that I might be able to get in contact with? Someone with
Hmm.
contacts such as Salias Tadworth probably would know such things.
So sorry, you're asking for like a more specific contact?
Like an antiquities dealer or something like that.
Okay. Oh, give me a like I'll allow any social role. I'll even technically allow intimidate.
Let's see, which one is my best? Well, I have psychology, but that's not really social.
No.
Let's see. Charm. Oh, fast talk?
Sure.
Nope,
Uh,
that didn't even help.
no. He doesn't seem to be buying it. He kind of shrugs his head. It's not my business to recommend other traders.
Oh, so you're a trader?
He kind of stares at you blankly as you
All right.
stand in his shop.
All right. Well, okay. I'll assume that he is a trader then, and then I'll pull out one of the silver idols that I had gotten down below Tadworth's house and put it on the table. Would this be of value to you?
He snatches it immediately. Where did you find this?
Well, information comes with a price.
Mm. He looks at it. A trade, eh? I can do you the vest, I can do you the trousers, and I can do you the name of an occultist friend of mine.
Okay, so this was just one of the idols. I didn't lay down all three
Yeah.
of them. Okay.
No.
So I have
More.
3 friends. Can you accommodate each of them with a vest?
He weighs the idol in his hand, takes out a jeweler's eyepiece, looks at them. You already have one. Yes.
All right, I'll accept that. So we found this under Tadware's house.
His eyes widen slightly. Oh? Will he
All right.
approve of you selling it to me?
I doubt he had anything to do with it.
Hmm.
But
Well,
if he needs it, you can find where it is quite easily, and
yeah.
you'll be able to make a tiny profit in the process.
Oh, I never liked him anyway. We have a deal.
All right. I'll shake his hand and I'll gather, I guess, 3 vests
Information.
Mhm.
and the information.
Well, you can't gather them now.
Oh.
He says that he'll
Oh,
need some
okay.
time to prepare them. So
Okay.
check back in a few days.
All right.
In
Well,
3
thank you.
days.
3 days. All right.
Mm.
So thank you.
Oh, he nods, and he writes down the address of an antiquarian friend of his that deals in things that the vendor noticeably says are quite similar to the idol. So yes, you have that address.
Okay. Huh. Well, I guess, yeah, I'm curious now. I'm gonna have to go with Mayhem to the address and maybe get some information about what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. What? So you're heading there now?
I think I should. Well, wait. How far away is it? Is the hotel room
It's
closer, or is the address
it's
closer?
it's in the fourth on the other side of the city.
Oh no, then I'll go back to the hotel room, and
Okay.
I'll have a nice conversation with Mayhem on the way back.
Mayhem is talkative if uninformative.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of something else I'll need to do when I get back to the hotel room.
Okay. I mean, yeah. So, in that case, roughly about an hour after Void first sets out, what have either of you been doing anything at this time?
Yeah, I was going to try and read Impressured Places, which is one of the books that I found.
Okay, you got a bit more time to do it now. So, give me a library use roll.
Okay.
Been sitting in the room with him, going through the notes of what he's told and asking questions here and there to fill in some of the blank spots of what's been going on.
Okay.
Humphrey will do his
Uh,
best to answer.
Oh, an extreme. Jesus.
Yeah, at extreme. Oh yeah, I gotta check it too.
Yeah, in pressured. Okay. Yeah, okay. In that case, what would normally take you 3 weeks? 1.5. So that would be. Oh, why is my math? So yeah, in that case, I'll say you by no means finish it. I will allow you to gain the initial reading points. So you gain +1 to your Cthulhu Mythos.
Okay. Cool.
And, oh wait, may gain max CMF if their Cthulhu Mythos skill points are below the book's rating. So what's your Mythos rating?
Well, it was 22.
Oh, okay, so you don't gain the maximum, I'm afraid. Its rating is
Oh, okay. No problem.
either way, you gain that. I'm gonna reduce this to a D3 of sanity loss then. So that's the full 3.
It's full 3. Okay. That's all right. We're doing okay.
Time
We're
to
doing
mitigate.
okay.
Well, we're at 16. So,
Okay.
Yeah. Moving forward.
yeah.
Yeah, at certain points while he's reading, Mortimer, you will notice him beginning to shake and kick unnervingly in his bed.
Mortimer's half oblivious to this and he looks at him and says, "Don't I know you from somewhere?"
Possibly. You sound like somebody from Boston, which is where I'm from.
Yeah, you own a little shop, right? A little antique place.
Yeah, well, books, not antiques, but yeah.
I think I remember.
Have you been there?
Oh, you don't remember? No, I wasn't there. I passed by your shop. I thought I've seen you in the window.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I'm not out locating books, then I often am at the shop. So yes, there's a very, very good chance that you've seen me.
Shipments of books coming in all right still? He says
Well,
this
you
month,
know, it's been okay. It's been okay. That's why I've been traveling so much. You know, we've been finding books in odd locations now. That's how I got caught up in all this. But you know, I got to admit, some of these tomes that I've found will fetch a fair price back home. So not a total loss.
And nobody from the no shipments have been like lost at the docks as of recently still?
Well, I had some books stolen, and I never got those back. Unfortunately, I had some books stolen. I got the money back, but not the books. Unfortunately, annotated copy of Frankenstein was in there, and a collection of handwritten poetry from Poe. Both lost.
See about getting those back for me when we get back into Boston.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
says,
that'd
and
be
he goes
great.
back to his notes.
Okay. Yeah, apart from that, there is I can't really think of much else. You a good hour or so later, I don't think. Yeah, it it wouldn't have any spells in it. However, roll me a luck roll.
Okay. Oof, not great. Oh, hey.
Hey. In that case, I will actually allow you to regain a D4 of luck
Oh,
for getting an
sweet.
extreme. So you get regain 1 luck point.
Hey, that's all right. I'll take
Um,
one.
Yeah. So this book happens to be, I mean, you have to read through the lines to a degree, but it happens to directly correlate to a number of facets of direct interest in your to this case. In particular, in pressured places kind of refers to the various times that people have been experienced underground events in history and in mythos related places. In particular, it describes an experience one of the book's writers had with those whose minds drift through time underneath the 13th arrondissement. And specifically, it describes a grand repository of theirs in, why don't you give me a, ooh, what would this be? I suppose, I guess it's kind of map related. I would allow a navigate. I would allow a general int roll.
I'll go with int then, because my navigate's pretty bad.
Okay. Oh well.
Hmm.
You can't quite figure out where, but it's somewhere in the 13th.
Out of curiosity, has my time in the hospital cured me of my fear of the number 13?
You get a bit of a shudder, but it's not as bad.
Okay. Very interesting. And so, does he give any description of these minds who drift through time?
He doesn't give an incredibly specific description. He describes them as inhumanly strong in physical form and having technology far advanced beyond not only that which we could conceive of, but that which even in our maddest states we could ever envision.
And does he mention?
And yet, for some reason, they still keep books.
They still keep.
Yeah.
Does he mention how he got there? Did he say specifically he used the sewers?
Yeah, he. Ooh. Wait, no, you got an extreme. That's fair enough. He mentions going down through a abandoned townhouse that was used by a former criminal.
Do I think that the townhouse is the one that Elias has?
No.
Okay.
No, sorry, it's not really a townhouse. This is also quite a recently published book by your guess. So yeah, it describes a puzzle that must be completed based around like inscriptions and paintings on the walls. He describes it as the mundane combining with the maddening. This writer tends to use a lot of alliteration to the point where it slightly annoys you.
Okay. All right.
He's see, this is the thing. I do like Lovecraft and I like running his games. He's very much not my favorite writer.
No,
Like,
I always call him the George Lucas of horror because he made a really good sandbox, but other people make better stuff in it.
Oh, very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. He tends to use a lot of like horrible scintillating proboscises.
Yeah, purple prose. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, slightly annoyed, but much more informed. You finish the book, and yeah, around about the time that Void is returning.
Okay. Some interesting stuff in this book, Void, that might be of use to us.
Oh, what's that?
So this book is all about crazy events, and I'll tell Mortimer as well. I'll sort of like sit around. This is about books that about events that have happened underground, and this guy fought some very strong technologically advanced creatures down in the sewers of Paris in the 13th district.
Technologically advanced. Oh, yeah, like with elevators and weirdness
Yeah.
like that. That sort of technological.
Yeah, and you know what's
Yeah.
funny is the way that he got in was through a puzzle based on inscriptions and paintings, which made me think of the elevator.
That sounds accurate.
Yep. So what I found out about what he saw down in the sewers, which is probably they have some sort of grand repository down there of books. Again, very close to what we've been dealing with. I found out that they are whatever these things are, they're quote minds who drift through time. Minds, MINDS, as like yeah, and they are inhumanly strong in their physical form. So I think if we get into any sort of physical confrontation with whatever's down there, there's a very good chance we might lose.
But if they're minds, would they have a physical form?
He said that they were in inhumanly strong physical form. So my guess is that they have the ability to make a physical form.
Also, do you show Void these sections of the book? Like, do you get the book out and point to them?
If there's pictures, yes.
There aren't
That's
pictures
normal
per
looks too.
se, but there are brass rubbings of certain runes and inscriptions, supposedly of their culture.
Yes, then
the
I
book
would
is
show those to
reprinted.
Mortimer and Void. Yeah, I'd sort of
Void
do
and
like
Mortimer, you noticed that they're basically the same as the ones that are on the that are on the rods in the bag.
Oh, we gotta go there.
Into the
yeah.
sewers?
So
Yeah,
he
how-
said that he got in through a house that used to belong to a criminal. I'm thinking that could be the house that Vivian was taken to. I'm thinking that we will find a way in that house.
Yep. Unfortunately, we have more important things to deal with because Salias has come home and he's gone to his townhouse and he's been staying there. So if he's not already dead, we should probably check in on him and make sure that he's all right.
And
Okay.
it puts spelunking on hold.
Yes. I
This-
say that we because you said it was the afternoon, right?
Yeah, it's kind of early afternoon still.
All right, so I say we go talk to Salias, make a plan, and we head to Vivian's first thing in the morning.
So Mortimer did come up with something that is kind of important, just to check to make sure that Salias isn't a vampire. We probably want to get him into daylight just to make sure if he is a vampire, if he's anything like the vampires in books. Before we start sharing a lot of information, we probably want to do that.
Well, yeah, let's
And-
do that now then, because it's early afternoon, so it should be sunny.
Give me one moment because there's something I keep forgetting to do. So what Joseph wants to do is he wants to take off oh god, this sounds so weird. He wants to remove the clothing that he put on Mayhem and take some pictures of the symbols that were inscribed on Mayhem, and also do the same for the woman that they had abducted. Try to take some pictures of those symbols as well, so that if something weird does start happening, we have some sort of reference.
This woman has since left. Like, she's
Oh,
not
okay.
staying around.
I thought she was staying because she didn't have anywhere to go.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah, you You
I had
you
No.
taken her back.
Yeah, I'm fine if she wants to leave.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll have requested her own room, but she'll have paid for that with her own money, unless Mortimer.
With her money, Mortimer wouldn't object to that. I thought she had left with Olivia.
Well, so Olivia went to do her production. I don't know if she went because she has been abused and cut up. So that might be a little bit awkward if she goes along with.
So, are you moving on at this point? Or...
So I wanted to take pictures of the wounds of my dog and the other actress. Because
Okay.
I want to just document that in case it ever comes back to haunt us.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're probably gonna go to the townhouse of Salias and see what's up with him.
Ooh. Give me an artcraft photography roll.
You have a camera?
Yeah.
It's
Or
a
photography.
brownie. I've been taking pictures every once in a while. Art crafts or photography. Okay, where is that? Just 5% as well?
I think it's just the base 5%
Okay.
unless you put points into it.
Nope.
Nah. Okay. You take the picture. It'll take a while to develop.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't think I have developed the role yet. I was waiting.
I don't know if it works on the basis of roles. I think it's like you have to take them into a dark room with a red light and put them in a tray of water.
Oh, okay. I was actually gonna
Is that
ask
how-
someone like Salias if he knew someone who developed these pictures, if I have to do that myself.
I think you probably take it to someone who can develop it. For
Yeah.
us.
I mean, he's a bounty hunter. He's not necessarily a photographer, so.
So yeah, you take the pictures. You put down your camera again.
Okay. And then I'll get Mayhem dressed back up so there aren't a bunch of people staring, and I guess we go to Salias unless anyone has anything else to say.
Gab says that she should be able to pop in the moment.
Okay. Should just wait then?
I mean, you can wait if you want, or you can carry on. It is up to you. I have some wine, appropriately enough.
Is Steven there?
I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there she is.
Gab, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. So you haven't missed a fantastic deal. At least I wouldn't say so. Perhaps the team can fill you in.
All right.
Well, we had a big run-in with a Moroccan that
Yeah.
Steve can fill you in, and that's probably the biggest update that we have.
Yeah. the
Yeah,
new-
somebody told us not to go to Morocco and then threatened us if we do go to Morocco.
Do we think that's the same? Didn't we see a dark-skinned person somewhere?
We've
else?
run into a few African
remember.
Moroccan things.
Right.
Yeah. So he was said
Things.
that yeah, the people, things, cults, all of it.
Oh dear.
So yeah, he said that was probably we would assume that that's our next destination and that we shouldn't. He was preemptively warning us not to go, and that if we had to deal with him again, that he would not be as nice to deal with. And he had already pointed a gun at me, or he had a henchman point a gun at me. So I presume next time they mean they're going to use it. And then, yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that happened.
Okay. So it's actually fortunate that Gab, you should come back in at this point, because that means we can cut back to you quickly for a little something that I was
Oh.
otherwise going to handle next week.
Basically,
Basically,
let me get in roll 20. I'm sorry.
Okay,
But
it's no
just go ahead.
problem. So basically, I'd explained your disappearance, at least briefly, as you had said that you had to go back to the theater and at least put on like a matinee performance. Otherwise, you stood
Oh,
at risk
that's a
of
great
losing your
idea.
job.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So
I didn't even think about that.
yeah.
Dirk.
So yeah. Oh yeah, you know that job I technically
My
have?
job, right?
Yeah. Oh wow. So yeah, you've head back. Give me an. Oh wait, I'll wait until you're back on roll 20.
Almost there.
Okay, but when you are, just give me an artcraft acting roll at any time, and that will tell us how well the performance went.
No pressure.
No pressure indeed. But nice new profile picture, by the way. So
Oh, sorry.
so yeah, you.
Someone in another game I was in, I had the same problem. Apparently, it's a habit where I'm really particular about my picture, and I didn't have one, and he was using the Roll20 profile picture, which is technically a character from a totally different game. And I was like, no, you don't understand. That's my other character. So finally, I just changed it to something nobody
Okay.
could ever use
Fair
as
enough.
a character picture.
Yeah. So yeah. You,
Anyway, I'm rolling.
Artcraft acting. How well did that go? Yep, you pass. It's it's not the
My mind's
performance.
on other things.
Your mind's on other things. Literally just come away from therapy to deal with vampirism. So yeah, you're. It's not a performance that you'll ever become famed for, but you're already kind of mildly famed anyway. So it's not deal breaking, and it at least tides your boss over. Who, when you return to him, he's still quite annoyed at you for just kind of leaving for days on end without really giving advance notice.
I think that without sounding, what's the word? Like, I think she would try to, well, I mean, because she is, it wouldn't even be acting really to
Okay.
act like she were nervous about these actress abductions, because now that she's seen where they go and what ends up happening to them, she really is nervous about it.
So give me a charm roll.
All right. Actually, my persuade's higher, but no, it's fine. I'll give you charm.
Okay, you can do either. Oh, yeah. He folds immediately under your lilting eyelashes, quivering act, and immediately hugs you close and says that it's all okay and you can take off as much time as you need.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna go use that to fight more vampires.
Yeah.
Right. As one does.
As one does. Yeah, he even says that he'll pay you half salary while you're off, which allows you to maintain your credit rating. So
Oh,
that's
my.
always useful.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you would have needed an extreme to get that, but you did. So there we are. So yeah, you finish that up. In the meantime, though, after he kind of recovers from his similar crying anxiety fit that you initiate in this grown adult masculine man alongside you, he does dry his eyes off and say, "Oh, yes, we there is a new script that's come around. I'd like you to take a look at it, if that's okay.
Of course.
We're thinking of doing a production." Okay, and he hands it over to you. It's you note that it's an adaptation of Salome, which is the one of Oscar Wilde's more controversial plays. It being the daughter of Herod and the like. And I mean, do you want to look at it now or later?
I mean, being as I'm here, I guess I'll go ahead and look at it now.
Okay, give me a library use roll.
All right. Oof.
Oof, indeed. Yeah, there's Salome. You've read it before. Nothing really different.
All right. Well, I guess I'll ask him. Are we definitely doing this? Are we considering doing this?
No, it's the perfect time. All this news about Wild and loads of people will be over, and they'll want to see something of his.
That is true. Although, you know, the actresses who disappeared had all done Wild plays, and I
Yes.
was a little nervous again.
But that was for the performance, the importance of being earnest. This is a different one.
That is true. And yet, I just look at it nervously.
And yet, money.
Ah, I see.
Hmm.
I don't know personally, so would it be obvious to me from the play which role he's wanting me to assume, or would it be something I would need to ask? I don't know how many are in it, etc., etc.
He's actually kind of roughly annotated it, and you can kind of see that he's put he's kind of put the role of Salome herself next to you.
Ew.
Hmm.
I'm assuming the titular role is the biggest
The
one.
titular role is the one that is in every scene and has the most screen time.
Oh my.
It literally revolves around her and what becomes of her. Because, I mean, you've read it before. You know it doesn't have a happy ending.
Ah. I imagine, like, even with everything going on, there's probably part of her still that's like, ooh, this is the title role.
Yeah. It is very flattering. You've never actually technically been the lead star on a dedicated play before, just on the short vignettes that accompany the opera scenes. So this would genuinely be your name in lights.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, vampires be damned.
Yeah.
Well, I'll begin reading this immediately then. I tell him.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, he nods. We're currently still in the process of negotiating riots, setting up scenery, you know, slotting it in. So if you want to go away and do other things, at least try and be back in about 2.5 months' time, and regularly.
All right. I am certainly hoping all of this will be over and dealt with by then. Definitely.
Good. Yeah. He kind of nods. This is definitely like the least emotionally harsh you've ever seen him. He's a much more strict man usually, but now he's kind of softened to you.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, I think I should. I'm not sure the best wording, but I think I would, in some appropriate way, you know, let him know that I am happy and grateful for the chance to play a title role in something.
Okay, yeah. He approves and says, "Why would we consider anyone else?"
I smile charmingly at that.
Yeah, and apart from that, he says, "Oh yes, and your dressing room has been sorted out again after that unfortunate incident."
Oh, good. Thank you very much for that. I guess I will stop by my dressing room before I leave then.
Sure. You looking?
Well, I guess I would have been if I was in a play. I'd have been in there anyway. So.
Okay. Yeah. Give me a luck roll.
Oh dear. Okay.
Every time I ask you for a roll, this will be bad. Yeah, okay. No, you head back inside. There's it looks like your dressing room pre-trashing, basically, just as you had it before.
I think I'm going to look for that, because when we were looking at the maps, we saw a thing that led directly into that room. So I'm going to look for wherever I suspect that to be, to see if it still looks accessible enough to worry about.
Sure. Give me a spot hidden roll, and I'll let you add +10.
Okay. Ooh, thank goodness for +10.
Thank goodness for +10 indeed. Yeah, you find it without a great deal of hassle. You don't necessarily manage to get it open, but you find that there is a small, very minimalist panel that is almost completely flush with the wall. You only really find it by way of actually running your hand slightly over the surface and feeling the draft. But you do notice it, and then at that point see the slits that lead down and let air into a passageway behind the wall.
About how large is the passageway? Or the opening, or both? Or
That's the thing, very small. Smaller than the creatures you fought underneath Tadworth's house. I mean, if you had to guess at its size, roughly, like, it could fit a gerbil.
Oh, like tiny, tiny.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me feel better, but also just makes me more curious, I think, at the same time. Anyway. Like, why is an opening that small on a thing? And then I guess, of course, I think back to when we first found the thing in Tadworth's place. Like, you know, after we broke it open a little bit, it was a much larger space than it originally seemed.
Yeah. So.
Interesting. All right.
Okay. Yeah, if you're finishing up there, I'd say given times, this is getting closer towards the afternoon. So why doesn't everyone give me a luck roll?
Can do.
Thank God one of you passed. So yeah, Mortimer, you walking kind of. I don't know how perhaps best to describe this, but how would you describe Mortimer's attitudes towards women as a whole?
It's a tricky situation. If it's in the company of others, he does his best to put on a gentlemanly approach. If not, he oogles from behind a newspaper or something.
But does he whistle in the street?
Probably not while in France.
Do his eyeballs
Okay.
buck out of his head, his tongue hangs out,
The
and he makes
auga.
the auga noise.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
In that case, Olivia, you kind of become vaguely aware.
Description. Or tell me the scene as it unfolds.
Okay, so basically, a stunningly attractive a woman appears on the street, and you're kind of ahead of everyone else at this point, and so you begin a process of mob analysis, shall we say. But then she turns around and you realize, oh, it's the dame from yesterday.
Yeah, he like catches himself like back, like he's about to follow. Like, oof. Isn't that your associate up there?
Oh, do we see her?
Yeah, if he points her out to you, she's kind of walking slightly ahead of you all in the street.
Ooh, sneak up on her.
Oh dear.
This
That
can only
couldn't go
well.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Give me a
these
stealth
last-
roll, Void.
Oh no, not very good today.
No. Olivia,
Clack,
you
clack, clack.
Yeah, Olivia, you hear the clang of a dustbin behind you and turn around to see Void, for some reason attempting to sneak up on you.
I think I like when I turn around, like I'm wide-eyed, very alarmed.
Mm.
And then when I see it's Void, I go, "Oh, Mr. Void, what on earth are you doing?"
It's Elias. He's back, and he's staying at the townhouse.
What?
He's here. The
We got
man, the myth, the legend.
we gotta go, and we gotta make sure that he's all right.
Have you spoken to him?
I received a
Yeah,
note
we
from
can go there to
him
visit him tonight.
just a few
Oh, you just
minutes
got a
ago.
telegram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not a telegram. He left a note at his tailor, assuming that I was gonna stop in there. But yeah, you said that he is at his townhouse.
We were just going to pay him a visit.
Oh, certainly. Have a lot of questions.
Okay. You head on round to the townhouse. It doesn't take you a terribly long while. There's a light on in the front room. It's getting towards the evening now. As I said, this is the late autumn, so it's dark at this time.
Oh
on the
no.
streets.
It's dark. There's no sun up or anything.
Give me a luck roll.
Oh, me.
Yeah, specifically you.
Okay.
No. It's dark, baby.
Well, we can't test him out. I look at Mortimer.
Still talk to him at least.
Should we
Yeah.
come back at another time?
Hey, are you a fucking vampire or something?
Yeah.
I'll knock on the door.
We could always come back tomorrow, potentially.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe you had another friend? Two?
Okay. Silias himself opens the door and smiles warmly towards you. Ah, Void, my man.
Silias.
So they recognize him. I'm guessing if you say Silias, who am I looking at? Or is it like? Or I think you said like in the photo, it was the same face, just
Yeah,
with
you
the quote-unquote African skin tone.
yeah, this is a white version of the man you once briefly dated.
All right, I think I just kind of gawk at him then.
Okay. He smiles towards you. Ah, yes, Miss Blythe, wasn't it?
Yes,
Mind
you are looking different these days.
I changed some things about myself since we last met. Mainly the hair. Do you like it?
Certainly, but it's not what strikes me the most.
Nothing compared to your friends. He kind of points to Humphreys. I remember you being balder. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
He
well,
was.
a lot of things have changed. Let's leave it at that.
Are we
Oh.
inside at the moment, or are we standing outside?
No. He does at that point become aware of he's lost all of his manners and invites you all inside.
Okay.
He
think
says,
we've
"Oh,
met."
this must be our good friend Mortimer Click." And he,
Oh, I don't think we've.
shakes your hand.
I don't think we've met before.
No, I heard of your reputation from some acquaintances in Boston.
Oh, I hope you haven't heard too much.
only the good parts. And yeah.
I assume that you are aware of the mess that's been made.
What mess?
Well, I point to the room where we found the elevator, and I just point that way.
You point to a entirely smooth wooden paneled corridor.
Oh, so it's been fixed up?
Seemingly.
Did you fix that up?
Fix what up?
Okay, I'm gonna go there and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
wasn't there,
investigate that.
It had to have been a big hole when we left because everything exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at it.
I knock on the wall and
It
Check.
gives a hollow, tinny sound.
oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, this wasn't here when we left. It was a entrance to the death hole, which this
The death
house,
hole?
which this townhouse is built upon.
Wait. He kind of stops you, confused. Let's focus more on that death hole aspect that you claim my
Well,
house is built upon.
As we said in our telegram to you, it was dangerous to be here because there was a passageway behind this wall. I gestured to the wall that led down into a subterranean area.
Your telegram didn't say that. He kind
Well,
of
I didn't go into the details, but I said you were in danger.
Yeah, there's
He
only so
rummaged-
much we could say over Telegram
I
before it.
didn't want to alarm the people at the telegram
Yeah.
office.
Can I
He
make a
rummages
psychology
around in his. What?
I'll make a psychology check of him.
You can.
Oh,
Go
that's
ahead.
a great point.
He seems genuinely confused.
And over to Humphrey while the three of them are talking. Seems pretty on the
Someone
level
must
about
have
this.
snuck in and fixed it.
Yeah,
before
I
even
sort of
flipping got
look
here.
at I look at Mortimer and sort of nod. Like, I agree. He doesn't seem like he's
Hmm.
putting on a show.
At that point, he produces a telegram from his pockets and hands it over to you, Olivia. And
It got
this is not the telegram you wrote. Yeah, it
Oh, Elias is Tadworth. God damn it. Yes.
it does. Wait, what? Okay, sorry. So yeah, it's pretty similar, but you notice that where you mentioned a pathway, or like a passageway behind his house, and that his house was in danger, it just kind of says, we weren't comfortable at your house. We've taken to get other rooms.
Well, I was going to say, as he's handing it to me, I ask him when he arrived, but then I, of course, read it. And then after I read it, I'm just kind of like, I'm holding it in my hand and just like staring at the palm of my hand. And I just look up at everyone and I say, this isn't the telegram that I sent. This isn't what I said. Someone has omitted what I told him about being in danger.
I'm not surprised.
If we can't even send telegrams, what is going on in this city?
I don't know. Well, we can explain it to him now while he's here and in front of us, and assuming he is who he says he is, right?
Oh, thanks.
You should know what you're living upon.
Okay. Well, he gestures to the table. You can see that he's like attempted to prepare dinner for you all, but it kind of has the look of someone who's spent a lot of time watching other people cook food, attempting to cook food. It's the soup is not terribly good. I was about to say the soup is burnt, and then I realized that's not actually possible.
You can burn
You can burn
soup.
soup.
Yeah.
Well, you
Believe me,
can
I've
burn
tried.
soup, but
You can. Okay, the soup is burnt then.
Elias, that is very gracious of you.
Yes.
I
Appreciate it.
suppose
Much
Jean has
appreciated,
gone on
Mr.
to her
Cadmus.
family's house then.
Jean is down in Nice. Yes.
Have you
Well,
had a
I-
chance to talk to her about what happened?
I didn't know anything had happened.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, she can corroborate what happened because the poor thing was here when our
She-
friend Tim was attacked.
Yeah, she saw the whole thing.
Well, before we
who-
jump into that, does the Grand Orient de France mean anything to you?
Oh, that's an
Yeah.
excellent question.
They're like the Masons, aren't they? But French.
Uh-huh.
I don't know much more about them than that.
Well,
I think
We-
my dad used to be involved with them, but I never was.
Ah, you were right.
So
Wait, no, I'm doing a psych check on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Or not,
No, even if he is lying, you wouldn't know.
right?
Hmm.
I just kind of look at him shrewdly.
So Olivia,
He kind of
Is that
looks at
so?
Olivia. What's the? Are you so angry at me still? I thought we ended on good terms.
I'm not angry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sense of all of this, and it's very confusing and kind of upsetting considering we can't even send telegrams anymore and expect them to remain accurate.
well, here we're getting ahead of ourselves because we're really confusing Salias, right? We're not telling him what's going on. We should tell him what's going on.
All right, yes, let's begin when we arrived here. I believe that would
Yeah.
begin at the beginning, as they say.
Well, okay, Olivia became fearful when actresses were disappearing. And when we arrived, Humphrey and Olivia had the brilliant idea to go and talk to some people, and they found out that they were being kidnapped, the actresses, via the sewer system. So they came back, we discussed it, and we decided that it would be in our best interest to secure the premises and make sure that the sewer system wasn't coming up to the house or easy accessible via those passageways. So we split up and we looked around, and in doing so, we fell through one of your walls. Horrible construction, by the way. And we
Wait, fell through. Hang on.
that's neither here or there. I'm getting to the important part.
I was kind of
Mr.
fudging over
Tadworth.
us, banging around, and
If you'd like, Mr. Tadsworth, I have a detailed report dictated here for you.
Okay.
Well,
we, terrific.
We came upon through the wall a symbol of the Grand Orient de France. And at that time, we had gotten a little bit worried that we could be bombarded with unknown people coming up through this to get to us, because at that time, it was pretty common that people were on our trail after us for some reason or another. Unfortunately, that didn't really it didn't last for very long that we didn't go down there, because we started hearing screams of these other actresses that were being kidnapped. Olivia heard it during the night, and then we didn't really have a choice, and we had to go down there via an elevator that was hand powered. We go down there. We did a few things, but then we also got ambushed by these two guys.
When you mentioned the hand-powered elevator, I'll let anyone who cares make me a psychology roll.
I do.
Okay.
same, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't.
Oh,
Oh,
you know what?
Humphrey.
I'll spend one to succeed.
Okay.
But if you spend a luck point, you don't get. Yeah, never mind.
You get more
Okay.
luck.
So in that case, Humphrey and Void and Gab, Olivia, you'll all notice that when the hand-powered elevator is mentioned, Salias's eyes kind of glaze over, and he begins kind of shaking his head and reflexively clenching and unclenching his hand.
What? Why? What?
But what do you mean, what?
You changed your demeanor. What about
Yeah,
the
you started
elevator?
like. Yeah.
You know something about the elevator, Salias.
My memories of early childhood are very fuzzy, but I can recall my father and an elevator shaft and some gears and darkness.
So Tadworth, whatever you can provide as your legal consultant, we can use to help further along this.
I mean, tell me what you found down there, and then I'll think about whether I want to pursue a litigative course against it.
Well, okay, so we were ambushed by two people who took Olivia hostage. She managed to swiftly escape their bondage, but again, they showed up, and we yelled out that we were with Tadworth. Um, they eventually did stop, and we talked momentarily, and they said they asked about you, and we said Salias, but it wasn't you who they were concerned about. It was your father or your ancestry or something else that had something to do with this literary society. And so they let us go. We went back up here, and then they went all completely crazy on us. We went to the funeral like you had suggested. I assume you told us to go to the funeral and that wasn't a fake telegram from someone else.
Hmm.
So we come back and we find that our friend Tim the Mime was murdered. Your secretary, or whatever you want to call her, was brutally beaten upon, and yeah, they stole my dog. So we went down there. There was a secondary elevator that was very, very weird, where it had a painting. It had some literary references that you put the slot into the right place in the picture, and you go to different levels. And soon we found out that there's some sort of creatures down there that are, how do I put this? Kind of like the guy from Nosferatu living down below your townhouse.
Vampires.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we took
Crap.
care of a couple of them and we came
Yeah.
back up.
I've clearly underestimated your services.
We kind of feel a little bit I don't know
Wait,
what
he
you
doesn't-
Feel the same way.
Hold on. Hold on. When we talk about vampires, does he at least look shocked? Or do we need to look up about that again?
He looks very concerned throughout all of this. It doesn't take a psychology check to figure out he's cracking a joke as like a defense mechanism.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure.
He looks towards Mortimer. Mr. Click, as a legal representative, would you happen to know if there are any, if there would be anything wrong with selling a house under French law purely based on a viewing basis? As in, if I were to just show people around and then they would agree to purchase the house. And I
As
were
is,
to,
basically. I don't know if that's a
As
phrase
is.
yet in this time.
As is, yes. And I would do not necessarily disclose the nature of what you have described.
A law check, or would I simply say I know?
Law check. Yeah, I'll say it's a standard law check. Oh,
Say I'm too familiar with French law. per se.
you know that I'll say that's close enough that you know that in the US it's perfectly fine.
In the United States, it's perfectly fine to sell the house as well as the furnitures with all. Of course, though, typically you would want to mention any particular features or hazards the house is in good nature of law standing. Of course, some of the features don't necessarily need to be mentioned, and that can be helped to raise the profit margin you expect to get.
Well,
And it's settled. I don't much care for this place anyway. I'll sell it soon.
well, don't be too hasty, Salias, because while we're down there, we kind of figured out what they were doing with the actresses, and it involved the Wild Files.
Ah,
Oddly enough, they were trying to resurrect Oscar Wilde. We did find the actresses, and unfortunately, there wasn't much we could do for them. but I don't believe we came across the wild files down there. So if you sell this place, you might lose access to them as well.
Hmm. All right. All right. Tell you what. Tell you what, in that case. I'm willing to. Tell you what, Mr. Click, you're a new arrival to this group. You're a sensible man of upstanding appearance. Would you say you trust these this story of vampires, this narrative? Would you say you trust these people on that front?
Give them all a quick glance, and then Mortimer says, I must admit that such a story is hard to follow. As your legal consultant, I would say to bring it before a court of law would be hard to defend without concrete evidence and proof. I have not seen evidence in the way of what they say in terms of this elevator shaft. I did see the room that used to be here beforehand when I had journeyed to your abode here before.
Could you, he turns to Void, could you open it up again?
Okay, but for the
Could
moment,
you conveniently fall through a wall again?
yes, but please notice the 2 puncture marks on my neck.
Oh dear. Yeah, he
Just-
goes to take a look.
Just
at
so you have an idea. And if we open up this wall again, they're going to realize that we're coming on through and you might not be safe. Are you sure you want me to do this?
it. If
Perhaps, Mr. Alistair, if you do have information that
who's
could
Mr.
help
Alistair?
I'm sorry, Mr. Cladsworth, if you do have information that you spoke of involving your father and relations, and you could help certain aspects of this story.
I really needed your verification, Mr. Click, because that then leads me to ask Mr. Void. You're a man of a martial inclination. You're a soldier. You've seen conflict and you deal in the more rugged aspects of life. I have contacts here in the French military. What kind of equipment would you most desire to head down on another expedition? I
Well-
draw the line at getting more people involved, but equipment.
Well, it kind of depends on our skills, right? And some armor. I've kind of already taken care of getting some more of these, and I open up and show the vest, which came as a great help. I talked.
Oh, that was my father's.
Oh, it helped quite a bit. I hope you don't mind.
No,
it's now Void's.
it's fine. Well, we'll see about that. I'd like you to return it at
Yeah,
some point.
I'm fine with that. But I guess I look at Humphrey and Olivia. What would it take for you two to come back down there with me?
To be honest, I
I'll
would
give
be
you a
okay to
hard
go back.
look.
I would be okay with going back down there because I would like to possibly get more books.
Do you think that they even still have books down there after, after the first time we were down there,
Well-
they had moved everything from an area they thought.
Well, no,
could
but we
access?
found books that I was lighting on fire, so there might be more books down there.
If they managed to put the fire out in time. which
Yeah.
I guess I can only surmise that they probably did.
Yeah, because this house is burned down, and books have survived through a lot worse.
Said you had vanquished all of the vampires, or however there were down there.
Oh,
Well, we
we didn't
yeah.
vanquish them all. We just vanquished a handful of them.
And then we lit some fires and left.
Mr. Tadsworth. Uh-huh.
All right. He kind of
I-
nods.
I don't feel like we can go down there without being a lot
Pay
more
raise.
better equipped than we were the first time.
Yeah.
Because we barely made it out with our lives.
And I think that's what Tadworth is asking us, what we would want to become equipped.
Flamethrowers, grenades, elephant
Flamethrower!
guns, something. I'm not saying any of this in
Void does
character, by the
have
way.
Void does have 10% in weapon use flamethrower.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Or is there some role that we could maybe make to figure out what we need?
I mean, it depends what you're trying to do.
I'm not sure we know what we're trying to do yet.
Delay for climbing.
Just going down there and I don't know.
Grenades.
I mean, armor I think is obvious, right? Something that can help protect
that's
us.
true.
I would like a flamethrower.
Do you know how to use one?
That's a good question. Do I know how to use a flamethrower? I was just thinking Humphrey would like some sort of flame from last time because that seemed to work very well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do flamethrowers even exist right now? Have we
They
heard
do.
of these?
They were
Yeah,
used
I'm
in the
pretty
First
sure. I'm
World
pretty
War.
sure that.
Well,
Yeah.
Humphrey, I'm not sure
Like
setting
2 men to use one.
I'm not sure setting everything on fire is the best approach. Are you sure about this?
Well, I mean, if they're vampires, we know that unless we have a bunch of silver bullets, which do any of you have silver bullets hanging around?
Well, I think silver bullets are
I
for
can get some-
werewolves, aren't they?
I can.
No, they're for vampires, and so is running water and garlic. But how would we get running water down there? And unless we have a ton of garlic and crosses,
Mr. Boyd,
Tadworth very seriously says I can get silver bullets made.
oh well, okay then, never mind.
what was that you stabbed the one with, Mr. Void? That seemed to do the trick.
Okay, yeah, I pull out the stake. Oh, I have no idea what this is made of. And I say that honestly
is-
because silver is kind of indistinguishable from other metals because it's just kind of silvery.
Yeah.
Pewter, nickel,
Yeah,
etc.
so I
Yeah.
should say it's not just silver bullets. Yeah,
Okay.
it's silver of any type.
Humphrey, this would be the first time you've really seen it up close and for an elongated period, so I'll let you make me an appraise roll.
Okay, not too bad. Oh yeah, there we
That's
go.
silver,
Bucks.
boy. That's pure sterling silver all the way through and in a big chunk.
Yeah, I'll sort of flick it and like hope it makes some sort of noise. I'll be like, that's why, because that's silver.
Well, then
So
I
silver
guess
does work.
we need silver ammunition then, right?
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, the silver that's in Dracula, and Dracula's been around for a while, so I feel
Yeah.
like Klein would know that. Yeah, silver plays a big part in Dracula. So
Well, I would say that we don't know where the line between folklore and reality exists, but then again, we have that bag where folklore is.
yeah, they're
becoming
exactly. I was
reality, so-
like, if they're pulling vampires out of Dracula, then silver will work.
Well,
And
considering
starting
this,
to
considering
find
this,
that line blurred myself.
Oh, it never occurred to me that they pulled them out of a bag like that or whatever.
considering the silver stake exists, I'm happy assuming that silver will work.
Yeah.
Also, does Click have
Well,
points in a gun of any description?
Actually, he has proficiency with has some proficiency with rifles.
Okay. That's actually interesting. I think submachine guns come under the
Long guns.
they come under rifle
R-S.
shotgun. Yeah.
Are they under a
Uh,
rifle? Because I thought they were a different category.
Are they?
I had thought so, but I might be wrong.
Essentially, because it is automatic.
Oh yeah, firearm submachine gun is its whole separate skill. Oh well. I was going to say if you had points in that, I might let you do a luck roll to see if you have a Tommy gun.
As a part of his equipment, he already possesses a 45 revolver, an ice pick, and a Winchester 1897.
Okay. Oh wait, a what? A Winchester?
1897.
Ah, right. I believe that's a rifle cartridge rather than pistol cartridge. But yeah, Silius will note down any list of calibers you give him and say that he'll run it along to his Parisian gunsmith.
He'll tell that to Silius, separate of the group. He doesn't want to
Oh,
tell
sure.
everyone, hey, I'm a lawyer who's carrying a shotgun in the briefcase I'm currently holding.
Hmm.
And like I mentioned, I already had a deal with your tailor to get us a couple more of these vests. If you could maybe speed that along or even add to it, that would also help. Other than that, I can't really think of anything other than maybe trying to convince Olivia that this would be a good idea and that we need her because she is the most knowledgeable of the Oscar Wilde plays at the moment, and I'm sure that would become useful to us.
Have we heard anything? I don't think that we have heard anything in character about Mortimer's mob involvement, right? Or have we?
Nope.
Nope.
All right, never mind then on that.
I really need like
I'm
little
like, you
shaped
know, thugs.
aside.
Can we bring some thugs?
sides. And actually, one of them was pointed at Humphrey. But still, no, you guys don't know anything of that yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hmm.
Do you still need convincing, Olivia?
It's not so much that I am, what's the word? Hang on. It's not so much that I'm stubborn about it. I just feel like we definitely, we're not going to accomplish what we want to accomplish without having, more assistance of some variety at our disposal. So yes, the silver bullets would be handy, but for example, I myself am not very good at wielding a firearm.
Well, you have shot a few of them now in your day,
Maybe
right?
we need to go to the shooting range.
Training. Could we get training for Olivia, or could we do it ourselves? Do I think I'm
Training.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, if you take her to a dedicated shooting range and have an instructor do it, I'll allow her to gain like a D4 a day that she does that. If it's just you teaching her to shoot cans in the back garden, I'll say it's like a point a day.
okay? So
It'd be the
can
same
we
amount
get,
of session success that you would get from a successful roll.
Basically.
can we get Olivia a trainer so that she's more comfortable in coming along with us down there? And maybe these fellows, if they don't feel confident in their ability to shoot, should go along.
Tadsworth, I'm a bit shocked that you wish us to go down there.
I didn't say anything about going down there.
He's just going to help supply us because he's got money.
Yeah.
That's also
Yeah.
out of
Well,
character,
no,
by the way.
I meant like, no, I meant us as in myself and the rest of these individuals. That you supply us to go into this crypt where there's allegedly vampires. You've also not particularly told us much from what you know yourself.
I know very little about it.
And I kind of believe him that he's saying the truth.
Yes, to me, I'm gonna make a roll.
Okay, sure.
Any better though?
There's no idea.
So is this the plan then, guys?
Yeah, That sounds. Yeah, I mean, if we'll be provided with something, then Humphrey is a little bit more okay with going.
And even though this has been patched up, I highly recommend that you do not stay here, Salias. It's a little bit dangerous.
Oh, I'm going to go off and stay at a friend's house.
Okay.
Good idea.
You're yes, I'd advise you find somewhere else. Probably not a hotel either.
Yeah, people
you
seem
never
to
trust
keep
hotels.
finding us. Do you know of some place where we could stay down fairly low?
He points to Olivia. You have a house nearby, I assume.
We all
Well-
sort of look at Olivia.
Won't that be one of the places they know to check, though? I mean, she is pretty famous, and I'm pretty sure it's known to quite a
Is
few
it
people.
of public knowledge where you live?
She's AFK.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
you can ask her all this later.
All right. Yeah. Is there anything else, guys?
Are going down there and you're expecting shooting. I, for one, as your legal advisor, should hope that we try everything we can to avoid any sort of hostile confrontation.
Well, they weren't too willing to speak to us, and we
Could I? Oh, okay. While they're talking, could I try and find something to make a makeshift flamethrower?
God.
Like
Um,
some sort of like
sure.
hairspray or something
give
like
me
that?
an idea roll. Give me an int roll.
Okay. Because the fire worked really well last time.
Oh my
Okay.
God, an alcoholic,
Yes!
an alcoholic that's addicted
you-
to drugs that likes to
you-
set fire.
You just find a flamethrower. There's just one there in the garden. You don't even know how it got there.
Oh, awesome.
Next to a bust on display.
It's in the gardener's shed. Hey, what's this doing here?
It's actually in the hands of the water feature. That's like a figure of Cupid. And the bow has just been replaced with a flamethrower.
I'm trying to find the skills. I know that they have them. I think the
Yeah, it's like an alternate universe Nirvana album cover.
Well, if we are going to be doing such things, I think I should have some professional training as well. I shot a bit back in college, part of the ski shoot team. But what we have in mind here.
Well, if we're gonna be hooking
Well-
up Olivia, we can hook up you too, I assume.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's around about this time that Humphrey would return with a flamethrower in his arms.
Oh no!
which I just added the stats to by the way, in the thing.
Humphrey, we can't be setting everything on fire. It's not the solution to everything.
Okay, how about I make a deal with you? I only start spraying this either after you die or you tell me it's okay.
Oh god.
This thing has
Salias.
this thing has like a bomb attached to it, right? It's full of fuel, and if it gets
Oh
shot
yeah.
or
If
something,
anyone
it's gonna
shoots it, it'll
explode.
just blow up.
I have actual
Oh my
flamethrowers work, but yeah.
A portable bomb. You want to become a portable bomb? Is that what you're saying?
I'll stay near the back.
You know,
Now the flamethrower stays in the front.
Tadworth looks it up and down and says, "You know, we could get a suit of armor especially made so that it covers the flamethrower."
Oh.
Why is there a flamethrower in this place?
I don't know. It wasn't here when I
Tadworth.
arrived. Where did you find it?
Short amount of time I have known you.
Out in the garden.
I only have more questions.
I thought he was
Out
gonna
in the
say he,
garden.
I thought he was gonna say he pulled it out
Oh,
of his hair.
that's a good point. Mr. Click, are flamethrowers illegal in France at the moment?
To imagine anyone would have thought of law against them.
That's a good. I like that answer. I agree with that answer.
What did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
I can't imagine anyone would have thought of a law against them, because in the U.S.,
Yeah.
I looked this up because it has always been a childhood dream of mine to actually own a flamethrower. That in several states you are allowed to own a flamethrower because lawmakers never thought, hey,
Yeah.
we shouldn't let people have flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like places like
that-
California, where if you drop a match, the whole state goes up that you can't have a flamethrower. But probably in the
because, yeah,
1920s
they
in
thought of
France,
it,
it
sure.
Well,
shouldn't
it's-
be an
well-
issue.
Yeah, well, it's also the fact that if you put fire anywhere and they need to call the fire brigade, then you've used up 20% of the state's water supply.
Yeah. Yes. I live in California. I can. That's true.
So yeah, you you have a flamethrower.
All right then. Humphrey.
Have you put it on? Has he got it strapped around his back and like actually holding?
Yeah, I would
the-
say yeah. It's like strapped on. Yeah, it's like around his back.
Oh, hi, Olivia. So, Mortimer
Humphrey has a
and-
flamethrower now.
Mortimer and Joseph were having a nice little conversation, and then Humphrey comes in from the garden with a flamethrower.
What?
Yeah,
That
he's just
nasty
got the
crab
tank
back.
strapped to his back with the tube running down his arm, and he kind of comes in smiling.
Practice with that.
Why was that out there?
I don't know. I found it.
I think he pulled it out of his hair.
Was that out of character? Is that some bizarre luck roll?
That's in character.
Yeah. No. Actually, it was an idea roll, and I got an extreme.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a question raised to Olivia while you were away, which was basically no, it's no problem. Which basically was the notion was raised of where people would all stay, and Tadworth turned to you and said, "Well, you have a house nearby, don't you?"
It's more of an apartment, but if people are willing to, well, I think we discussed this before, and everyone was worried that my house might be under some amount of targeting. Not that I'm unwilling, of course, but I just don't want anyone to be in danger any more than we already are.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah. Void had sort of voiced a similar concern.
Hmm.
I'm
And
not
Humphrey
sure
has
it's
a
even wise
flamethrower.
for me to be at my house right now or at my apartment.
Yeah.
So maybe we could. Maybe we could. Well, I mean, at this point, should we just stay here? I mean, if people are gonna know where we're going.
I also think it's funny how a flamethrower is 2d6 and a shotgun is 4d6.
Well,
Yeah,
it
that
is
is odd.
two. It is 2d6 plus burn, which I looked up burn, and its target must roll luck to avoid catching on fire, take minimum fire damage on following round, double each round until extinguished.
Yeah, Humphrey
Providing
can't
target
be
is
the one to
flammable.
wield that then because he has like 20 luck. Like seriously.
Well, no. So that's the target. That's the target. So whoever
the
I'm shooting
target.
it,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
whoever I'm
That's
shooting
a
at has to
wielder.
make
I
a
was
luck
like,
roll.
I would like to point out that if you roll a 93,
93 to 100. Yeah,
it will explode and you will die.
yeah, yeah. It's
Oh,
a mouth. Yeah.
Huge fumble rate. Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's why I said I'm going to use it only if we decide to burn the whole thing. But I want to be able to burn the whole thing very quickly in the event that we decide we're burning the
Yeah,
whole
no
thing.
more of this throw a match and hope it takes hold nonsense.
Yeah, I'm not lighting each
We've-
bookcase individually this
We've
time
stepped
around.
up our
No,
game.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we need to blow something up, we know how we can do it now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying I don't envision using it, but if we need it, it's a good thing to have.
Yep.
A precious second to take in the sight that has become Humphrey Klein.
If we had any
this-
military
this
contacts that
man
could get
who's-
us like gas grenades, but then the vampires don't breathe, it would only hurt anyone who had to breathe.
This guy with
Hey.
ridiculously long hair who sells.
Yeah,
books,
now I've got the
who's
hair too.
prepared- who has a flamethrower in the event that he wants to burn books.
Stepping in from the garden, the sun. Wait, no, it's dark. The moon shining over his luscious flowing hair.
Let's burn books.
There is
Yeah.
also another thing that Salias could help us with. We have a car,
Okay.
and it's currently not functioning.
Oh yeah, that's a good very good
Okay.
remembering because I totally
I'll-
forgot about that.
I'll call my mechanic in the morning.
So I guess what we could do is that when the car is fixed, we go to a hotel, we check in under assumed names, and maybe that will be enough to keep us somewhat hidden. I don't know.
You know,
I mean, I'm almost wondering.
You could-
I'm almost
you could-
wondering if we. I was gonna say. I almost wonder if we should even go get a hotel. I mean, so we're going down into the
I'm not
basement
going
of the
to buy
house.
you a
tonight.
hotel.
Well, I'm not
Okay.
I'm not sure we want to go back down the way that we have been because I think that is probably last time, Salias, they booby trapped the exit and a bomb did go off, some sort of magical voodoo that they did.
no, we should
So-
use the maps and approach
Wait a
from
Yes.
second.
this direction.
Wait a
You
second.
mentioned you
Salias.
had this friend who had, or a criminal house or something like that, who had a secret passageway into this place also.
Yeah, that I think I think that's going to be the Vivian house. But Salias, have you spent the night here?
No, I arrived in the morning.
Oh, okay. All right. So we don't know if it's safe. Because I was going to say, if he spent the night last night, then
It's gonna make me
assume it's safe.
Oh,
But
Oh, yes, sorry, I was going to say something. You could attach the flamethrower to the car.
yeah, I know. I did. Oh, did I add that to the? Yeah, I could. That's the other thing. I did notice here. I think I screenshotted it. Here we go.
so on a 93 the car explodes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the 93 to 100. So it's like anything a 93 or above.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does say I can mount it on a vehicle, and it's actually a base percentage of 10, which is better than what I thought.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Hey.
1 out of
10%.
Yeah, I have basically almost equal percentage of making the shot or blowing it up. Almost the same percentage chance.
Well, you're never
Yeah.
gonna improve unless you roll.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That I got to roll.
Maybe he looks you up and down and says, maybe instead of handgun training, you should invest in flamethrower training, if such a thing exists.
We should totally find a field at some point, and I'll just, just keep going.
Just stand very far back.
Yeah. Okay. So are we gonna go? We're gonna go to a hotel and check in under assumed names.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best.
Okay.
If your
Under
friend
Joseph Boyd.
who dropped you off in the car knows where we are, assuming named, who's to say that we're not being watched right now?
We could be.
That's what I was saying. I mean, I was saying that I was followed on the street. So there's a good chance that we'll be followed wherever we go, and it might not matter if we check in under a hotel under assumed names.
I'd rather be followed on a street than to be sleeping above vampires.
Well, we could take watch.
Can Mortimer look out the window and see if he sees anyone?
I remember a friend of mine said she was going to write a book about attractive vampires, which sounded very odd.
What's her name? Anne.
Yes, it was. Do you know her?
Or it's
I
too
think
late.
I've heard of her.
Hmm.
Is there a way Mortimer can look out the window to see if there's any like cars idling with people in them?
Sure, give
Near
me a
the
spot
house.
hit and roll. There's like some, like I said, this is a side street, so cars that come down here tend to move along. So it's fairly easy to spot the one that isn't across the road.
And Humphrey, does this look like the car that you saw? He says, peering through the blinds.
Does it?
You memorized it earlier? Yeah, same one.
Yep, that's the car.
Oh, sorry. What are you fellows looking at? Says Tadworth, wandering over.
Well, that car right there is the car that followed me, and I was put into and then threatened.
That car there, you say? Oh, interesting.
Yes.
He wanders over into the living room where there is a telephone, and he takes the telephone off the wall, dials up someone, puts it to his ear. Are any of you overhearing the conversation?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yeah, I'll try
yes.
and listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Nigel. Oh, yes, splendid. Splendid you're up at this time. How's Vienna? Oh, lovely. So listen. Yeah, apparently while you were away, some terrible things happened. Unfortunate timing, really. If you would have been here, that would have helped. But no, it's fine. There's a car just outside your house now. Do you see it? And if anyone's still looking through the window, you will see the curtains of the house behind where the car is open up. And he says, "Yes, I'd like you to. I'd like you to deal with that, were it at all possible." And yeah, is anyone continuing to look out of the window?
Yeah, when he says take care of it, that's Humphrey will like turn all of his attention to the car.
I think if people are visible in the window, if they're not like a few feet back where it's easy
Probably
to
enough
actually
to
see
keep us
them,
there by the
I'd
blinds.
want to pull them back because I don't want to give them any warning.
Oh, all right. Sure. You I mean, yeah, I'll allow you, given that you have the advantage of being within a house, I'll allow you to set yourself up in such a position that you can look out of the window without it being obvious. But yeah, as you look outside the window, give me another spot hidden roll, whoever's looking outside.
I will look as
Oh,
well.
there we go.
Look as well. Hooray. More rolls.
Oh, my.
Oh!
Jesus.
Describe to us the people sitting in the car.
Yes. Olivia, you see in great detail a man who fits Humphrey's description from before, kind of looking around strangely. You also see a man who fits Humphrey's description of the henchman. I will allow Void to see it as well. Olivia, you see another detail. Remind me, what symbols did you see when you attended Comtoire's funeral?
They were strange triangles in the vertebra, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones that I showed her after drawing.
Kind of angling your head down on the underside of the roof of the passenger seat in the front. You can see that same symbol as you crane your neck.
All right, I am describing all of this to them as I see
All
it.
right.
It's that symbol again, the one with the triangles that I saw in Comtoire's neck.
Could it be
Realizing this sounds weird, Claire.
Yeah, and Solias, who looks at you oddly.
Right.
I
As does
wonder-
Mortimer.
I wonder if it could be the silver-faced man in disguise then.
However, you're critical, and in fact Void's hard, and Humphrey's hard, lets you see a man approach through the garden of the house opposite, round a side gate, who kind of very nimbly rolls over the top of the gate with a package under his arm, in kind of like a burlap sack. He crouches down beneath the car boot, seems to pick at the lock, click it open up, put the sack inside, very quietly and carefully shut it, and then nimbly roll away again into the dark of next door's walled-off garden.
Tadsworth, what's your man doing out there?
Oh,
Indeed.
he's dealing with it.
Tail.
Very handy. Would he be available to come with us down into the event?
He doesn't. He prefers to be a watcher rather than a participant, if you see what I mean.
I see.
But yeah, after a little while, you see one of the you see the car suddenly and quickly pull away and shoot off down the road. And
What's
yeah,
that?
I'll allow anyone to give me a listen check.
Ooh, I would love to.
I can do that.
I like the way you said that.
Would I need a hard?
Yeah, people would need a hard, which is
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
nice.
Drake
It's-
got it.
Drake got it indeed. Void, at a distance, your trained bounty hunter senses hear the distinctive noise of a slightly muffled explosion.
Well, that takes care of them.
Drove away.
I like to think I'm just standing there going, I do wonder what's going on. And Boyd just starts smiling.
Well, no one's going to be following us now for the time being. Well, at least not them. Should we try and go the other way and find another hotel?
I was
Back
going
door.
to say, you know,
our man in Morocco in pieces.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
After they
Let's.
drove away.
I was going to say, you know, I do have access to
Yeah.
costumery if we need it.
Ah, that's a good idea too.
I dare say Mr. Klein looks like a bohemian now, as it were, anyway.
Yeah, I might. Yeah. I'm gonna grow out my beard too.
Indeed.
You're just
And get a little
predicting.
goatee going. Start wearing
Well, his
turtlenecks.
sanity's
Well, it might
slowly
be too early
slipping,
for
so he's
turtlenecks.
sort
Yeah.
of like he's starting to care less and less about that stuff.
I mean, yeah. If I will add plus 20 to your art craft songwriting roles to write Beatles songs.
Okay, yeah. Let's find a hotel and let's maybe let's maybe I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh, let's maybe stick to 1 or 2 rooms max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Max?
What state did the car drive away in?
I mean, you saw it. It drove away in a perfectly whole state.
We didn't actually see anyone explode into little pieces.
I mean, technically, if Void hasn't said anything, none of you knows it exploded,
Like, did Void see
Except for
people-
Void.
except for Void. Yeah.
But it was a muffled explosion. I assumed that
Yeah.
it probably wasn't strong enough to take out the entire
I mean, it-
car.
You have no idea from this
Yeah,
distance.
Okay.
If you want, you could like leave the house and investigate, but that's...
Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I'd say that we should go the other way and find a room.
all right.
the garden then, in that case?
Okay.
Is that a hotel?
Or I think he meant leave through the garden.
Oh,
You can
okay.
find the hotel in that regards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. You leave through the garden. Silius himself says that he will leave through the front, but he'll leave a bit later. He still has some stuff to do here.
Okay.
So yeah, you leave through the
Sounds
garden.
I leave him the paperwork.
Oh sure. He says he'll give it a read over. And yeah, you leave out through the back, kind of. Oh, that's a good point. You will have to technically climb over some fences in order to get back to a pathway again. So everyone, give me a climb roll. Oh. Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's only really one fence, and that's Tadworth's that's the issue. But with the practiced climbing capacities of an experienced mobster, Mortimer, you fling yourself over the top. Humphrey and Void, you both in complete unison attempt to climb and then fall backwards onto your backs.
Goes over the fence like he has experience in being chased.
Yeah.
I'm getting too old for this. I gotta figure out. He'll attempt to climb it one more time.
Oh, actually, yeah. Given Humphrey's condition recently, Humphrey, give me a con roll.
Oh, okay.
As the flamethrower
Okay, good.
explodes.
Okay. Wait, no, you're not still wearing the flamethrower, are you?
No. I would have put it with my
Good.
stuff now that we're leaving. Yeah.
You still have to
Good.
carry it though.
Yeah. But I presume it's now in a. I presume it's now in a case that we could just hand over the
Oh
fence.
yes, in the handy flamethrower case that you have to hand.
Oh, I meant like a suitcase. It's like I meant like a suitcase. I presume it comes
It's
apart. Maybe like the
fairly
tank
large.
comes off the tank
I mean,
comes off the
yeah.
gun and disconnects it, and you could probably fit it in a suitcase.
It's a flamethrower.
No, none
I mean,
of
they're
you-
not.
60s.
Okay, none of you know how to dismantle flamethrowers, so whoever is dismantling it, which I will assume is Humphrey, unless anyone tells
Yeah.
me otherwise,
No,
give me a,
yeah, for
give me a
sure.
luck roll.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Ah,
Yeah, you disconnect it, and a hole just opens up directly in the left tank and starts
Oh, no.
pumping fuel out onto the garden soil.
Palm just covers the grass.
Yeah.
all right. I'll let it
And then
actually
Humphrey's
empty
like,
out.
I'm so stressed, I need a cigarette.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll let it empty out, and then I'll try and like put what I can in like different places in my luggage, and I'll try and fix it later with maybe some. I don't know if tape
your,
was a
your
thing back
luggage
then.
now smells of old petroleum.
Of gasoline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Later though.
Yeah, that's true. It is going to be a lot
Oh.
lighter now.
Was that a lighter pun? Indeed.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah. Please give me more climb rolls so I may laugh at you again. This counts for you, Olivia, unless you want to leave by the front.
Oh dear.
Yeah, avoid you fall off the wall.
Ah. Oh, you know what? I'll spend 3 to just get over it.
No,
I don't
Survive
even
is
care.
I was about to say I need to just hang on the void like before, but apparently not.
No, you
Yeah, I can help them over.
Oh, in that case, I'll let you all add +10 to your rolls, which still does not help Void.
Ladder in the.
However,
next one over.
Humphrey removed that luck point cost. You don't need it anymore. As you get free luck back as Mortimer helps you over the top. Yeah.
Guys, this isn't so hard.
Unfortunately, Olivia, you're still wearing heels from earlier on in the day in your matinee performance, and they do not make climbing garden fences easy.
Right.
For a ladder or something I can help them with.
Oh, sure. Yeah, give me a luck roll.
Really no
None
dice.
around, I'm afraid. No
I'll
dice.
just continue to try to help them as best I can.
Okay.
You know, I'm just gonna go around.
Okay.
Just
You just go.
I know,
out
I-
front.
it's just
Front.
Yeah. Okay, you both go out the front. Void, as you enter out the front, give me a spot hidden roll. You see 2 people kind of exasperatedly milling about in the street further ahead and like kicking the side of the curb. One of them appears to be the henchman from within the car.
okay. So I'll whisper to Olivia. The 2 guys are pretty upset. We should really get going quickly here.
Oh dear. All right.
Okay. You head forth, and yeah, I mean you can meet back up around the side of the road. Humphrey, you've scraped your knee a bit, but you're fine apart from that.
Perhaps we should ask Mr. Tadsworth if we can get some grapple hook or delays or something who can help climb if this is going to be an issue in our.
Yeah. Yeah, if he's going to be offering to get us equipment, yeah, some climbing rope and stuff might not be a bad idea. Well thought, Mortimer.
Well, you're on the other side of the fence now. Did you want to go back on over?
Well, hopefully we can
Humphrey, I imagine,
telegram him.
have to go around, find him later.
All right. So yeah, you all head off, searching for a hotel. Any particular hotels? There are a good quantity nearby.
Relatively non-conspicuous? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just random. We just choose one at
Okay.
random.
Well, yeah,
He's
maybe
at
something
somebody's
middle,
house.
something middle class, like nothing fancy.
Okay. Let me. I'm trying to think what skill Mortimer would have that would be most mob related. It
Been
would.
asking for. He's a lawyer first. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Give me a law roll, Mortimer.
Okay. Quick. Nope.
You if you had succeeded, I would say you can apply your mob training legitimate business training to find a hotel that's very inconspicuous. But yeah, it's. Otherwise, if you're just looking around, yeah, you find an off kind of like a down by the Seine. It's not even a hotel. It's like a boarding house. That actually one of the rooms is like a houseboat that they moor next to the house itself. And if you're all booking rooms there, then one of you will have to be in the houseboat.
Yeah, I'll book a room there.
All right. Okay.
And
You
I assume under assumed names, right? Not our real names
Yeah.
this time? Okay.
yeah. Please, everyone, tell me what your assumed names are.
Alex Talbot.
Okay.
Oh,
Sterling
um,
Not Tabit, but Talbot.
Talbot. That's what the random name generator gave me, so I'm going with it.
Hang on. I've just realized an amazing. Have any of you ever used the Wu-Tang Clan name generator?
No,
What? No.
I haven't seen that one.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
This is yeah. You enter your name in and it tells you a Wu-Tang name. So yeah. So Joseph Void is erratic bastard. So there.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
Anyway. Yeah. Oddly appropriate. So yeah, you book in as Alex Talbot.
Boy, Mortimer Click shall forever be known as intellectual criminal.
Intellectual criminal.
Nice.
Hits you on the nose.
It knows. That's uncanny. So yeah. What is what's
Sterling White. I think Humphrey would go with Walter Stevenson, since it's the last name of his favorite author and the first name of his son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Olivia, like as soon as you walk into the guest house, the proprietor immediately looks up at you and says, "Oh, I loved seeing your performance a few nights ago."
I'm like, damn it. I don't say that out loud, of course. But
You must have me confused with some other amazing person.
I told these fellows that we needed to use some costumes.
I mean, if you want, I'll say you have enough makeup or like cosmetic entities on your person that you can give me an Artcraft acting roll to like disguise yourself.
All right.
Fake nose, mustache,
I
and
don't
glasses.
know. I was gonna say, I don't know that sunglasses are a thing yet. It might
They
be
are.
too weird. You might
They-
stick out more wearing them than you would
Yeah.
not.
So they're at this point in time, they're contradictory in their purpose, at least in terms of spying. But yeah, in that case, she does not remark that as you enter. She merely says that she likes your dress. So
I thank her in French, trying to
Yeah.
use a lower toned voice than I normally have, or higher, depending.
Merci beaucoup. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, you all book in rooms for the night. It's a perfectly quaint little. You'd expect to see this kind of place more in the countryside than anywhere else. Funnily enough, though, you are by the river. So why don't all of you give me luck rolls?
In our own rooms?
In your own rooms, yes. And also whoever's in the houseboat.
Yeah.
Ah,
In that case,
This is like the
Mortimer,
fourth,
you're,
fifth successful luck roll I've had.
Mortimer, you're in the houseboat. You feel something moving under the houseboat. You feel it like begin oscillating from side to side.
Oh my god.
And
That gave me chills out of character. Oh my god.
what?
Like just the thought of that being in a boat and something wiggling underneath the boat just creeped me out in a truly visceral way, for real.
Yeah. And as you do so, you
In my own
begin
room?
hearing the on the underside of the boat.
What is going on here? Like,
Yeah.
he's steps out
Do
onto the deck
you
and-
do you get up and look over the side?
Of course I do. I have the
Okay.
chance to look to the side of the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. As you do so,
To his grip for his revolver.
sure. As you do so, give me a sanity roll,
Of course.
of course.
Hey.
So you only lose 1 point of sanity as you see what appears to be some kind of horrible, guppy-faced, viciously toothed fish man being stick his head out of the water, drag the seemingly cracked and broken body of a small child that he had smashed against the side of the boat, clearly to kill it, given the quantity of blood, below the surface of the water. I will allow you to get a shot in, should you wish.
Yeah, Mortimer shrieks at the top of his lungs and fires several rounds into this froggy-faced man's face.
Oh my.
In terms of rounds, that's 2. That could easily be enough.
Okay.
Give me 2 handgun rolls. That's a success and that's a fail. Hey, at least you get to improve the skill, right? Okay, yeah, so the first one will hit. Roll me a d10.
It only does 1d10 plus 2, so the damage bonus
Okay.
is 10.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, in that case, it is far from dead, but you, or not far from dead. You can't really tell, but it screeches and blubs loudly and begins pushing its way underneath the surface, kind of dragging the corpse of the young girl behind it.
Continues to fire into the water after it.
Give me a luck roll.
Oh dear, are we hearing these gunshots going on?
You definitely are. Okay, roll me a d10 plus 2 then.
D10 plus 2.
Mm-hmm. Ah, right, that's enough. Yeah, you fire more bullets into the water. As you do so, you suddenly see this. One of them seems to apparently hit true, and you see this floating, stagnant corpse bob up to the surface with a kind of
It's monster's corpse.
horrid bony fin across its back, and yeah, the body of the small girl floats up next to it as well.
firing until it clicks, and it just keeps going click, 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 and
Yeah, more
just
bullets
keeps doing
slammed
that.
to its back. After a good half a minute or so, you will begin hearing the whistle of a gendarme approaching as one begins running down the side of the pier.
I've hoped that my compatriots would have came out sooner than that, but okay.
I mean, they're in bed, they're not dressed. I mean, you've all heard it. You've all heard the cacophony of gunfire that has sounded from outside.
Well, yeah, once gunfire goes off, Boyd will
Yeah,
be up and
Yep.
Before.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah. I think
but-
I'm running to the room of the nearest one of my compatriots at that.
Yeah, Humphrey has just started to try and patch up his flamethrower, and he puts it down and immediately runs out.
Okay.
Before.
Not bringing the flamethrower? Come on, amateur.
Well, it's not patched
Uh,
up yet. It's not patched
okay.
up. I haven't put the fuel back in it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Just for now, however, the gendarme approaches whistling and climbs up onto the boat and gives you a tirade of angry French that I don't think you have the language points to understand.
Mortimer's
Unless-
just shaking and still pointing his gun at the corpses, and he doesn't look up.
Do you have any points in French?
I do.
Oh, okay. Shall I take that as a no?
I have 16. Sorry, I have 16.
No, I was talking to Mortimer.
Oh, okay.
Pull them.
All right. Okay.
heard?
Yeah, no.
Mic check?
It's,
1, 2. Hello.
Yep. It's fine. The police officer continues his tirade of angry French. Olivia, you. What? No,
No,
unless you
I-
pointed out to him.
With the gun, I haven't looked at the man.
Okay. If you point with a gun, he won't follow. If you point with your hand, he will.
Point with my hand then, and drop the gun onto the deck of the ship. Trembling.
Okay, you point towards it. He looks over towards it. He's going to make me a sanity roll, which he flubs like hell.
Oh dear.
Or not by hell, like by 1 point. So he immediately gasps and steps back, and actually draws his own revolver. But it's at this point that you begin noticing a storm drain on the side of the Seine seems to conveniently have opened, and this section of the Seine seems to be draining and flooding into it, and the two bodies carried along with it.
I grab one of them and bring them on deck.
I mean, if you want, you can jump in and give me a swim roll.
I thought there might be like a hook or something I could. that way.
Yeah, fair enough. Give me a luck roll.
Oh yeah, like a boat hook.
Okay, yeah. There's like a barge pole that you could use to hook one of them.
Did you say which one I get?
No, that's what I mean. You choose one of them. Which one do you hook? Because they've kind of drifted away from each other.
I'll say I get the monster in that case.
Okay, yeah. You hook round the top of its fin and kind of pull it in. The police officer kind of at this point puts his gun away and ceases shouting angrily. It was around about this time that you would all come outside, and from your perspective, you basically just see a shaking Mortimer and a police officer leaning over the side of the houseboat, pulling something up.
I go over there
Oh
to see
dear,
what
what's
they're
happened?
pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They slop it up onto the deck like a fish, just as all three of you climb aboard. So I'll need sanity checks from all three of you.
Okay. This isn't good.
Oh God, so close.
I know, right?
This world is not long for you.
No. Yeah. So that means you too, Olivia. Oh, there
Yeah,
we
I
are.
was getting there.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, Olivia and Humphrey, you both lose 2 sanity as you
Okay.
see this horrible guppy-toothed, like monstrosity of a fish come man.
I'm fine with the sand roll, but I'm actually staying further back than everybody because my instinct when somebody is pulling something out of the river is not to get close to it.
Even when it's just fish.
Is it wearing anything?
No.
Hmm.
Does it have any
Anthropomorphic?
markings on it, like tattoos or?
It actually, no, it's covered in a thin layer of scales. It's hard to make out a lot in this light.
Is it bipedal?
It is bipedal, it has legs.
Okay, so
And
it's
the-
humanoid but fishy.
Yes. Across the river at this point, various lights have begun to flicker on, and there's kind of shouting from across the other side, and from along this side as well.
Where's the
Uh,
shouting coming from on the other side?
Just from the houses, like people are wondering what the hell's going on.
Are we being
Mortimer at
invaded?
this point picks up his pistol, walks
There-
back into the
I
cabin,
mean, there was a cacophony of
frantically
gunfire.
reloads it
Yeah.
through his bag, empties the shells onto the container, and starts putting in another 6. Closes it.
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
the thing came from. Came here to get away from that stuff.
I think I missed who was the woman in it grabbed? I mean, I know that I don't know in character. but
No,
just-
unfortunately, yeah, that would have to be an out of character question unless Mortimer reveals that the creature killed a child by bludgeoning its head against the side of the boat.
Mortimer's just is in shock at the moment. He's
just
just
trying to
yammering
figure out where
himself.
there was a kid out there in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know.
Well,
What on earth is that? What happened?
I think the bag might be
Okay.
doing something no matter where we go. Weird stuff keeps happening to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. At this point, the policeman will actually walk into your room and kind of stand next to you and say, "My English is bad. You will need to make a statement."
Supposed to say that I saw some sort of odd
I tell him in French
girl
that I
to
will
death on
translate
the-
for them.
quote.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, he nods gratefully and also tips his cap and says, Mademoiselle Blythe. Because by this point, like, you'd washed away your makeup.
Right.
Mm.
And what the hell am I supposed to say? That I saw some sort of frog beat a small child against my houseboat room?
ooh.
This is the first any of you have heard of the child. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Humphrey's like, oh, there was a child. This is getting heavy.
I just want to know what the fuck that thing is.
Yeah. Is there somebody? I'm talking to the policeman. Is there somebody that we could contact? Maybe get some updates on exactly what's going on in this case. Maybe yourself.
Oh, he shakes his head. This thing goes straight to the Guilier. I will let Mortimer and I will let Olivia make me education rolls
All right.
for what the Guilier is. Okay, Mortimer, the Guilier. Oh, and Olivia. So you both know that the Guilier is the section of the French police that deals specifically in like ritualism and entities of occult nature. The French were often ridiculed for like having an officially recognized police department that dealt with a lot of what the world considered like myths. Mortimer, you've learned with your dealings in the mythos that perhaps, despite what you've recently experienced, France might be the safest place because of how professionally it takes these matters.
Interesting.
So it's a relief for you both to hear that the Gilead will likely get
Spell
involved.
this Gilead.
I'll type it. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I've never been able to pronounce that.
Yeah. The name
Yeah.
is Old French, and it basically means like a aberrant or foreign.
Okay, sure. To be labeled as any sort of, I don't want my name struck in anything that would follow my record.
Hmm. He shrugs.
Yeah, I think could we possibly collect ourselves and meet you down at the station to do the interviews?
Yeah, he nods. By this time, like other policemen have arrived. They all like take a look at this thing and stagger back. But the policeman on your boat, who's kind of older and a bit more weather beaten, seemingly, whips them into shape, and they all like pick up the creature and begin carrying it away.
All right, maybe we should talk about exactly what we want to tell the police.
Any of you, I don't think.
Are we away
my
from
bit.
the police?
Oh, actually, no. This is an interesting matter. I will let Olivia and Humphrey make me int rolls to recall as they look across the river.
All right.
Oh man.
Okay, Olivia. That sluice gate where Mortimer would have reported that the child was kind of sunk down into. Sorry, what was that?
I would have told the police that as well.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. So they would have overheard, as they would have been present at the time. Where Mortimer reported the child was sucked down into is one of the main kind of like subsidiary passages that you saw on the map of the sewer map of Paris.
Oh.
And
I'll point that out to Mortimer and Void.
I mean, no, you don't know. Olivia knows this.
Oh yes, you're right. Sorry, forgot.
Yeah. The policeman's still standing right here, though, right?
No, he's left. He's
Oh,
basically
okay.
said, like, I don't want any more to do with this, and just carried
Oh,
it
right.
away.
Oh, yeah, that he's gonna let the special police handle it and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, since he's not here, I'm going to, look at that and then turn around and say, you know what, Humphrey? I think that was, or Mr. Klein, she would call him. That was the. I just drew a blank on how to explain it, but anyway, she explains what you just explained me, like how it's on the map.
It's kind of like a sluice gate that leads into one of the main unrecognized sewer passages that you'd seen on the map before.
Yeah, so that's the way. That's one way in.
A rather wet and sloppy way in, but we
Yeah.
can make note of it.
Yeah, now we
And
know
no-
at least what. In the event that Vivian's house doesn't have a entrance.
Oh
Or
yeah.
the house, too.
Also, it was in quite dim light. Would any of you have brought a torch out when you had run outside?
Well, I assume my boathouse room has a light.
Oh,
Above it.
that is true. That is very true.
And I have a
Uh,
flashlight.
You have a flashlight. You would have brought it out. In that case, I will let Mortimer and Void make me spot hidden checks. Oh, no. I'll let Humphrey and Olivia make them as well, but they'll need to be hard rather than normal.
All right.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, Humphrey. Before the body of this strange entity was carried away, you saw that across its chest, its scales had kind of been arranged in such a way where they had formed a similar ritual pattern that you had seen a number of times in the Bastille Literary Society's headquarters. Specifically,
Also,
like looking down towards the ritual chamber, around the slab of where the girl had been, kind of like across the columns, you had seen a lot of similar, again, kind of faux Carthaginian depictions of
Yeah.
runes.
Okay, so yeah, I'll say I think we're dealing with the same people. I saw a symbol on on the creature's chest that I saw down in the dungeons, if you will, of Tadworth's place.
Literary Society?
Yeah. So I think we're dealing with the literary. So I think it's starting to seem more and more like it's all the literary society.
So the Literary Society has
Attached to the
vampires and
Literary
they have lizard men. Could it be possible that the Literary Society is composed of literary characters now?
Very plausible to me. Or at least they make up some percentage of their numbers.
I mean, because we've seen vampires, we've seen pink balls with whips, and we've seen lizards, and they all seem like they're from stories.
Yeah, and quite literally, we've met characters from stories. So yeah, I think the idea that they could be using some sort of magic to bring out creatures from books that seems plausible to me. Or at least,
hell, what
as
would
plausible as
come
something that crazy can sound.
Yeah.
Where would that thing come from in a book that has froggy fishmen in it?
Well, there's two
That's what I was
problems.
thinking.
There's two problems with that because we've had experience when characters come out that we forget the stories they were a part of,
Mhm.
and there's so many stories out there we just might not know.
That's a good point. Void, no, sorry, not Void. Humphrey, give me I suppose, give me an education roll, and I'll say it'll need to be like a extreme, or at least high up in the hard.
Well,
No.
that's not good.
I'll allow you to push it if you want. I would allow a luck as a push.
Okay, yeah.
No. Okay. So yeah, carry on.
So I guess our next agenda is going to be going down the hole after we talk to the police.
To talk to the police. I'm not sure if you all need to involve yourselves in this.
Well, yeah. Do we want to check out
Oh, yeah.
Vivian's house first? I think.
Hey, if only Mortimer goes to the police, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Well, maybe we should go with him, but maybe he's the only one that goes inside.
Too sure
I don't know if
if
we
I
wanna split.
appreciate being on my own as of recently, though. I feel much more inclined to believe everything you've told me thus far, and
Well, I'm pretty sure that these things came out from the sewers to come and get us. Is everyone in agreement that that's probably the most likely scenario?
Yeah.
It would be too bizarre of a coincidence otherwise, I
Should-
imagine.
So should we try and get far away from the sewer system as we can? Would that be reasonable?
town.
We might have to.
I mean, is
Well, how
that
do we
even
do
is
that
that
without
even going to be
leaving the city?
possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Let's
the
go
thing.
to the
Yeah,
suburbs.
You've got the sewer maps, right? Is there anywhere that's safe or reasonably safe?
I don't.
guess?
Were we allowed to take? Were we allowed to take those maps?
Yeah, you have them on your possession. They're rolled up in like a scroll tube in your luggage.
Okay, yeah, I guess we could try and find somewhere, though. We're eventually gonna hit a spending cap because we
Well,
have been
I
checking
mean,
out
it's
hotel
just-
rooms.
It's just hotel rooms, and I think hotels are covered by our just general expenditure, I thought.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said specifically last time that he was not going to pay for a hotel.
No, he said he wouldn't pay to buy you a hotel.
Oh, okay.
We can afford it, though. So I guess, yeah, look at the sewer maps and see if there's some place we can alternate to.
I mean. All right, yeah, let's look and see if there's anything.
I'm just trying to think of something. I don't know if
Okay,
it will work
sure.
or not, but
Yeah, give me a spot hidden. Okay, does anyone else want to?
I'll try.
Indeed.
All right.
Oh
my God. Oh my God!
Wow.
I mean,
It's too dark.
if anyone were to, it's too dark and you're all shaken. If anyone were to spend luck, Void, you're 2 off.
I think
Oh,
I'm too
but
off
I'm
also.
down to 28 luck. Oh,
I mean,
no.
no,
I
it's
have
not-
a feeling like I don't know why we think that going to a hotel would work. To be honest, because we've been followed everywhere we've went. It has not worked any of the other times
well,
that we've.
I will
it-
just hang on.
This time
hang
we're
on.
gonna lose them.
Void,
Well,
I know that
Maybe this time.
I know that it's my job to mislead you and make you feel paranoid and horrible. I swear on my pet's grave, if you spend this 2 luck, something
Spent.
will be revealed which will make you much more at ease.
Yep, I spent it.
Okay. The only arrondissements where entrances emerge from the sewers are, or at least the vast majority of entrances emerge from the sewers, are the 17th, the 4th, the 9th, and the 20th. The rest of them have a bare minimum of concealed sewer entrances, if any at all.
So we want to avoid the concealed sewer entrances, or we
I
want
mean,
to go to the concealed sewer entrances?
If you want to find where the vampires live, they live where the concealed sewer entrances are. If you want to be away from them, then you go away from where the concealed sewer entrances are.
Okay, and the concealed sewer entrances were the 17th, the 4th, the 9th, and the 20th, or do I have that reversed? Okay,
No, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're reversed, they're all the same.
okay.
It's our intention to not be followed by those gentlemen in the car.
And
We should probably leave soon enough.
which one are we in right now? What the 20th?
Yeah, you're still on the 20th.
Okay. So we just chose really poorly.
Oh yeah, like it occurs to you quickly that like 80% of Paris is safe.
Okay, I'll relay this and say, hey, looking at this map, we got this wrong. We have to go somewhere else other than these 4 locations.
You're joking.
No, I'm not.
What do you mean, Mr. Boyd?
So, see these sewer entrances
Yes.
right here? Those are the dangerous areas.
There are
All
4 of
places
them.
where we're staying.
So we need to find one that isn't on the map? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the other 80% of Paris.
I say we take a boat to Morocco.
Well, I hadn't gotten a chance, right? I hadn't gotten a chance to let you all know yet, but I did find the opening that's in my dressing room at the Mogador, but it's so small, you could only fit in it if you were a rodent.
Or a fish.
But, well, no, that thing was much larger.
Okay.
But, I mean, I
No,
don't know.
Void just has a
It could
conspiracy
be-
about fish.
Oh. I don't know if it could be broken open to be larger, but I wouldn't want to, go banging about in my dressing room after Mr. whatever my boss's name has been so kind to me. But
Well, if
I
we are
felt I
correct,
should at least let you know.
if we are correct and there are stories coming to life, there could be anything coming through that of any size. So
Well, now at
shucks.
least we have a couple of entrances, so let's go get a good night's sleep. I'll fix my flamethrower, First thing in the morning, we do Vivian's place, and then into the sewers.
Okay.
Well,
Have we gotten our silver bullets yet?
yeah,
I
and
haven't
our
gotten any
training,
training
right?
yet.
Oh,
You
why?
are more liable to blow yourself up with that
Mhm.
thing than
Yeah.
to burn what you intend to.
Yeah, I
Well,
Well, like I
think
said,
we
I'm
need to
all, like I said, I'm only going to
We
use
should-
it if we're deciding to burn the whole thing down.
You get more prepared than a single night's rest.
Yeah, you still might need to work on that a little bit, and I know I certainly still need to go to the shooting range.
I would point out that Vivian's house is is a very different matter than the vampires under Tadworth's place.
So maybe we should hit that place first, just to get that out of the way, because we know we have to go there.
What is Vivian's house compared to the vampire's house?
It's in the 13th arrondissement.
But that was
that a-
where the underground people in the book were, right?
Yes, but they
Okay.
don't sound very vampiric to you. You know, these were the people who were, you know, the minds that could move through all of time and were,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess it's just I guess it's just a matter of which monsters do we want to deal with first.
Well, I say get the one with Vivian out of the way. Maybe that will give us some idea about the papers.
All right,
Because
so
that's-
yeah, so we can do Vivian's tomorrow or we can do training tomorrow, whatever works.
Vivian's place. I'm still asking this question here, folks.
Oh, okay. So Vivian, this is a house where, well, now we have it corroborated that probably underneath this house there's some floating mind things. But Vivian was somebody who was related to Wilde, who was brought to this house and tortured, and we were told to check it out.
I'll let Mortimer give me an education roll.
Look.
Nope. Anyway.
All that red.
All that red.
Right.
Associated with the
Screen of red.
This is associated with the Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So then I guess Mortimer talks with the police, and then I guess we start doing our. I'd say do the training first, because we don't know what we're necessarily going to run into at Vivian's house.
Sure.
All right.
I'll go meet the
So,
one of you who speaks French more fluently could come with me to help translate that.
I
be,
would
more
be,
appreciated.
yeah, I would do that.
And tomorrow we get started on his house or whatever you people want to do. I don't know anymore.
okay. So, yeah, you can go and talk to the police. Frankly, they seem like they just want to get this matter out of their hair as quickly as possible. When you turn up, you will be meted by an officer of the Guillière, who introduces himself as Monsieur Rimbaud. He's kind of a rather tall, bald man with a hawkish nose and a large overcoat. Who shakes your hand as you enter in and says, in French, Miss Blythe, you have had quite an experience tonight.
I have.
Well, do not worry. You may tell your friend here and the others that we know of such entities already. We will deal with them.
You do?
Yes.
Well,
What's he saying?
I
Following the
recognize you probably have a desire for discretion, but is there anything you can tell us to put our minds at ease about what on earth or why? Or she kind of throws her hands in the air helplessly.
He nods. Don't bathe in the Seine.
That's
Saying-
probably a good
That's
bit
good
of
advice anyway.
advice in general, right?
You
What's he talking about?
He says that the and she would know how to pronounce the name correctly. I'm sorry.
yeah.
They're already aware of such entities and are have dealt with them before. And I was asking him to elaborate, and all he told me was not to bathe in the river, which is, of course, obvious. But I suppose.
He does follow up with in all seriousness, they are a reclusive and small population. They generally do not emerge unless they're angered. So your friend must have done something to anger them.
Me.
I will explain that to him as well. What were you doing? I mean, I'm not blaming you at all, but what was going on before it came out of the river?
I don't know. It was just my luck. I was in the boathouse. I was settling down for my own relaxation to get some nice rest. And I heard some scraping and knocking on the bottom of my boat repeatedly, and I ventured a look outside and over the bow, and I saw his eyes staring back at me, clocking a small child up against the bow.
A child? Where on earth did a child come from in the middle of the night?
I don't know, it probably dragged her under or something, I hate to imagine.
Oh,
And anyways, I say this looking at Olivia and back and forth to the opposite. And I did what any sensible man would do and shouted and drew my revolver and this creature to try to save this child. Fired multiple times at it when it tried to dive under. I continued and fortunately it was too late for the child. I'd
all
done
right.
what I could.
I'll explain that to the policeman.
He nods and says, "Do not blame yourself. There was very little you could have done."
That's correct.
He nods, hands you a card, and yeah, at that walks away.
What about hey Olivia,
Yes.
I think we ought to tell them about this whole business. I feel like if they deal with this all the time, maybe this is just up their alley as well.
I don't know. That's what's been bothering me. What on earth do fishmen have to do with vampires?
These are the police, and these are the highly trained professionals who deal with whatever the hell
you're
all this
saying
crap's
ask
been the last
them
2
about
days.
vampires.
Well, yeah, but maybe ask them, to deal with it. They are the professionals. They are, I don't know. if pardon the puns, but why are we sticking our necks out into the dark?
No, I completely agree with you, Mr. Click. I'll turn around to the policeman and say, I'll pause for a moment before I do, while she thinks of how she's trying to word this, and kind of just end up deciding to be blunt about it and say, are you aware that there are vampires in the sewers then?
He raises an eyebrow. Vampires?
I take that as a no then.
Be very careful how we explain this. So we should probably tell them first and foremost that we are professionals, investigators of that sort, and yeah,
Hmm.
everything else in association without anything that's incriminating.
Okay. How much of your adventures do you really wish to tell him about then?
All
He is
I'm
the
going to
translator,
tell
so-
him is that he's probably aware that actresses who have been in Oscar Wilde's plays have been abducted lately.
He nods and
And-
says, it came to our attention.
And that I was actually captured for a moment by people and was in a place where I heard another actress that I recognized who fit that criteria as well. And I managed to escape, but not before my friends had to fight off what could only be described, and I realized how ludicrous it sounds as a vampire.
Hmm. Yeah. He nods.
Tell him about the where we found them more specifically.
I'll tell him that it was in. I'll just describe the general part of town, and it was in tunnels below the city. In what is that called? The 13th district.
Simone.
Hmm.
Neighborhood.
Sure. You describe that. He nods and says, "Well, we will certainly have a look. Is there anything else you wish to report?"
Well, we can't be certain as we were only in one part of it, but from how it seemed, we have reason to think that it actually spans much more of the city than just that. But as I said, we were only in one small part before we managed to escape.
He nods. We've been aware of such matters for a while. We are conducting operations, but we are a small unit. Funding is minimal.
I can understand that.
Yeah. He nods and says, "Oh, indeed, we are thinking of American expansion. We have heard a great number of strange events that have been occurring in your." He nods to Clegg, his country, and we've been speaking with our representatives in New Orleans.
Oh,
He hands you a card specifically relating to that business.
Mortimer reaches in and hands him his own card. It's like, well, if that's the case, then if you tell the gentleman, if he ever needs consulting work in that case,
he
work.
he kind of looks at it
Yeah.
curiously, but then nods, puts it away. Looking down at the card, you notice. Why don't you give me a language French roll, Olivia?
ooh, okay.
Oh, no, that's not you. It's Mortimer.
Poop.
Oh,
If
poop.
I'd gotten his 47, I could have used luck.
Very, very true. Yeah, no. Okay. In that case, I'll technically I was lying to you. I wasn't lying to you, but I didn't give you the right check. You speak French well enough to understand the basic gist of what it's saying. Why don't I so I'll just tell you up front. It basically is like translated. The name of this organization confuses you because it basically says the branching of two green rivers.
Ha 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 ha. Sorry.
I'm glad you got the reference.
I do.
Oh well.
I was about to say a minute ago. So is it a Greek word plus a color of the rainbow? But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's confused then, but yes.
Hmm.
Oh, what a curious name. What on earth does that have to do with hunting down mystical occurrences?
Yeah. I also like how again this is the time where we've referenced something from other bits of the Call of Cthulhu game, and Drake is just awkwardly in the corner, like, "Yep,
Sure.
sure."
Not a
Don't
savage.
worry, buddy. I don't understand the reference.
Huh.
Oh well. Anyway, yeah. I mean, yeah. So early in the morning.
I suppose a
you'll-
river might be green if it has fishmen in it. She's just mumbling to herself.
Yeah. What? Yeah. So yeah, you wind your way back to the boarding house earlier on in the morning. Your host is very upset that you have let off a bevy of bullets outside your house, and while she doesn't kick you out in the middle of the night, like while you pack your stuff in the morning, there's a generally tense atmosphere over breakfast.
On the walk back, is there FB chat?
What?
I'm sorry, blurped you out a little bit.
Just go ahead and head
What
back.
did you say? On the walk back, we do what?
I was saying on the walk back, is it alright if Mortimer and Olivia chat?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
On the walk back side? Yeah, thanks again for translating. It's very impressive how fluent you are.
Well, there's a great theatrical culture in Paris, and so it behooved me from an early age to learn to communicate.
Actress.
I'm sorry, it's chewing on you a little bit. All I heard was
Yeah.
actress. What was the whole question?
Oh, so you're an actress?
Oh, indeed, yes.
Well, that certainly explains the up and down, and then decides not to use any words. Your stature.
Think she would kind of like look at him quizzically, but not really like ask what he means.
No.
Thank you.
So how did you become involved in all of this?
Well, it
Seem like
is.
odd sort, but you seem to have yourself I don't know, very well put together.
Well, I certainly did before all this started. That's for certain. I actually, well, it all began actually when my dressing room at the theater where I work was broken into, and everything was just in utter disarray, as though they were looking for something or just trying to be generally threatening. I never could actually discern what the intent was, but wait, hold on, I'm trying to think. Out of character, that actually happened after the guy talked to me, I think. I think.
I think so. Well, yeah.
Okay, sorry, yeah, let me back up. She would say it started when I was warned after one of my shows one evening, my performances one evening. I was warned by a friend of Oscar Wilde's that actresses who had performed in Oscar Wilde's plays in the role of Gwendolyn and The Importance of Being Earnest were being abducted, and he warned me that I should be careful and make sure that I wasn't abducted myself. And actually someone did seem to be in the theater that night, and he chased him down, or he chased whoever it was down. And then a few days later, my dressing room was broken into, And what was his name? Pierre Louis, that's his name,
Yeah.
had also told me that there were a group of gentlemen who were looking for the wild papers, and that I might be able to meet up with them in order to try to discern what all of this was about. So after my room was broken into, I decided I would be better off being away from the theater for a while anyway, and that's when I came to find Mr. Klein and Mr. Void, and I guess we won't mention Martin because he's not here anymore. But anyway, but that's when I met up with them, and been just sort of trying to make head or tails out of this whole thing ever since.
Keep looking, it seems. If you're a widely recognized actress and all, to dive down this rabbit hole, so to speak.
Well, in one sense, I feel like I want to know what's going on and why, and I don't really have somewhere I could go to hide from it, even if I wish to, considering, as we've seen, and she gestures about herself, as we've seen, no matter where we go, it seems to follow us in some way. I figured it was better to stay together with the gentlemen who are trying to do something about it.
Thinks on that for a moment. He's like, doesn't seem to be much escape in it now. Enough point then. Miss Blythe,
Blythe.
was it? Just no down. For which parts?
Ooh, I'm sorry. It broke up that question
Yeah.
again too.
English, it would seem. I would take it from your accent. I have family there.
Oh, yes,
problem.
I'm from, oh dear, where was I from?
Rode for so long, you must have forgotten.
Yeah, I hope you wrote it down.
I
oh yeah,
did.
Salisbury, wasn't it? Yeah. Or Winchester, I think it was.
Winchester, yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking it was the W. Yes, it was
Yeah.
Winchester then. She would tell you that with not like weird uncertainty. I just couldn't remember out of character, sorry.
That's reassuring thought in one way or another. Miss Blythe. It is Ms., correct?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to answer everything, but I think it's continuing to
he-
eat
he
part of what
asked-
you're saying.
He asked if you're a mademoiselle or no.
Oh. Yes, if I were attached, I certainly wouldn't be gallivanting about the city with two other gentlemen. That's kind of a joke, but yeah, no, she's not.
Figures out. Huh. So, no. Well, here we are. So, unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
I think that's fine.
You want to ask him? Okay, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. So, have Void and Klein been talking about anything that isn't like flamethrower repair or what the fuck are the fish people doing?
No, I think he would try and repair the flamethrower.
While he's
Give me a
repairing the
mechanical repair roll.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Ah,
You accidentally activate the flame nozzle and set the curtain on fire
oh no.
of this boarding house.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'll try and quickly tamp it out.
Yeah, you can. It's fine. You just have some explaining to do in the morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I should take it to someone.
Do you want me to try and look at it? I might not do any better than you.
Do you have points of mechanical repair?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
he doesn't answer that question. He says I have had experience repairing mechanics kind of like that. So let me
Sure,
just,
yeah.
let
Yeah,
me just
please.
see. Stand back, I guess. Oh.
Oh,
my
do you want to
God.
spend those 2 points?
Oh, my luck, my poor luck.
Uh-huh.
24. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
spent 2 points.
Okay. Then, yeah, the flamethrower is repaired.
Yes.
It's a shoddy
Thank
job.
you.
And it's
It
a
is
patchwork
worth it.
job.
It will be worth it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. While you're here, I need supervision.
Sure.
So Void opens. Well, first of all, Void has read the first chapter of The Green Mantle, the book that he purchased from that shop a while ago.
Mhm.
He hasn't read any more of that book. He just specifically wanted to read the first chapter.
Sure.
And so he's going to open the bag and he's going to try and think of that first chapter.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to think how it opens. It's one of my favorite books as well, and I can't remember how it opens. Oh yeah, no. You see the you see Hane and his friend talking together, and then it's not a terribly dramatic opening. The first chapter is literally just like 2 people talking in a country club, and then someone else comes in and explains the political situation of the Middle East. I swear to God, this book's actually interesting. But yeah, it enacts itself.
So I continue to the end of the first chapter and I try
Mm.
to will it to keep continuing, if that makes sense.
Give me a power roll. Okay, good. You continue watching and you kind of push your mind down and narrow it in. And Humphrey, you will notice that Void is now gripping the sides of the bag much tighter and has put his face far closer towards the bag.
Okay.
Void, from
I'll
your
keep an eye on him.
perspective-
What was
From
that?
your perspective, as soon as the chapter ends, sorry, connection, it ends. Can you all hear me? All right.
It's
It's
chewing you
spotty.
up pretty
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah, you're kind of sounding.
Oh God.
Oh, there. Oh. If that was intentional.
So yeah. Oh what? Oh God. Why is this is not intentional at all? This is very annoying. I don't know what's going on. So, from your perspective, Void, you look into the bag, peering closer, and as soon as the first chapter ends, there's this dramatic kind of snap, and you feel your head kind of pulse and knock back on its vertebra. And as you do so, you see a enormous blue lake open up ahead of you, shimmering wide, almost glimmering as if laced with 1,000 diamonds. And the overlay of noise begins. Carcosa. Condé la ville, Yon. L'épée sur les montagnes et sur les madness. And that is, I think, a good point to wrap up this session.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!